I want to take the time to let you hear my heart on why I decided to bring Tyler on the Dear Future Wifey podcast. A lot of people have been reaching out to me, asking me to interview him. And immediately I said, nah, I saw a lot of content about him and I cast judgment. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I cast judgment and said, nope, don't want to bring him on here because I don't want to give him a place to lie. That is the opposite of what the Dear Future Wifey podcast is all about. It's about creating a safe space for people to share their stories, whether we agree with it or not. And my mission is to bring about healing in all parties that's involved. And if I can just plant a seed in Tyler's mind or everybody else that's involved in this situation, if I can plant a seed of hope, restoration, redemption, healing, then I've done my job. Now, I'm not sure if that mission will be accomplished today, but it's worth a try. And so it's my hope that this podcast plants a seed where Tyler is able to look back on and become a better man. So I want you to stay tuned to after the episode and you'll hear my reflective thoughts. And I'll be able to share if what I hope for is accomplished or if there's still work to be done. Give grace, have an open ear, and listen.
It's not easy by any means. It's tough. I'm just trying to picture what life looks like, and the question you asked me, what would I want? I don't know.
And that's okay. That's okay right now for today in this conversation. But if I call you a couple of weeks from now and I say, what do you want? You still say, I know. I will challenge you and say, you haven't put in the work, because while it's a difficult situation, nothing is too difficult for God. And if you are truly rooted and grounded in God, he's going to provide a solution. He said, if you call me, I will show up. He said, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Whosoever hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and sup with thee. Meaning that the minute that he is knocking, this is that knocking moment right now where you're having a conversation with me and I'm challenging you to rise up to a certain level of manhood. And now that's the knocking at the door. And then you say, all right, God, this little bald-headed man done told me some stuff and I don't know who this man is. Why did I even go do this episode to begin with?
But I know why I'm here.
Why?
I was called here. I'm telling you why. Before I got off the flight, Ashley said, I feel in my spirit, you're in good hands.
Ooh.
And one thing I can speak on Ashley, I don't know how long she's been building that relationship with God. That woman is good. When she says she feels something, don't question it. I learned to navigate around stuff and not want to talk about it. And she'll sit there and say, I feel it. I feel like I'm going against God. You need to tell me. When I tell you, I was like, it was one night I was crying to her because I was like, I don't know what relationship you have, but I want that.
Dear Future Wifey.
Okay, scripturally, the Bible says your Father has already designed and purposed you.
I experienced an invitation of God this morning.
So you got to become an elite decision maker.
Elite decision maker.
He said, because you are one fleshly decision away from losing it all.
Etched in my mind is what true submission to Christ looks like.
I gotta maintain that secret connection I have with God.
I'm so full and don't want to belabor this letter.
And I understand how important it is for men to disciple men, because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be where I am today.
I've traded worldly pleasures to live a God-centered life.
The encounter I just had, I just need to rest in it.
Help us to be considerate, creative, and courageous lovers.
I love you. Your future hubby. Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. I'm your host, Laterras Whitfield. Listen, are you still shacking up with us? If you're still shacking up with us, can we get a commitment? Hit that subscription button and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified about upcoming episodes while you're at it. Visit the link in the description and sign up for our mailing list. And follow us on Patreon. There's going to be a link in the description as well for you to join us there. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, take a moment, rate this episode, and leave a review. That's how people are able to be notified and find out about the Dear Future Wifey podcast. And I just thank God for all that he's been curating through the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Well, today's going to be an interesting episode. I got a text message from a friend asking me, have you watched the new season of Love is Blind? And I said, no, but I've been hearing about this particular guy. And they said, you got to watch it. You need to tune into it. And so I started looking at it, and I had another friend reach out to me and said, are you interested in interviewing him? And I said, this can be quite controversial. And you know, on the Dear Future Wifey podcast, it's all about transparency and vulnerability. And I didn't want to be a person that didn't allow this brother to have a safe space to share his heart. And so without further ado, welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. My homie, Tyler Francis. What's up, King?
What's going on, boss? I appreciate you having me here.
We here now.
Yeah.
Oh, we here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We got to talk.
We got to talk right now.
But they say, talk with me. Walk with me. When you going to talk, you're going to talk with me.
Yeah. So let me tell you this real quick. So the Dear Future Wifey podcast is a safe space. I know prior to you coming here today, you didn't know anything about Dear Future Wifey podcast. After being asked to come on, you watched a couple of episodes, correct?
Absolutely.
And first of all, what did you think about it?
I think this is a great podcast. I think this is the only podcast for me to come on and speak my truth. From watching what I've seen, you give a platform to people to speak their truth, a comfortable space. Feel like you're not looking for any clicks. You're looking for honesty. You're just looking for someone to come here and speak and just, like you said, chop it up. And just chop it up. We're here to talk.
I have an agenda on this episode. I have an agenda because it's all about healing. As a Black man, I love you. I care about you. I care about your emotional well-being. Along with that, I care about Bri. I care about Deshauna, and I care about, most importantly, your queen that took vows with you, and that's Ashley. And the reason why I say most importantly is that when people take vows with their particular person, hopefully we all take them for better or for worse, through sickness and health, and till death do we part, among other things. And so when this queen took these vows with you, she's getting a lot of negativity. She's getting a lot of people saying that she is unwise with marrying you, when this whole experiment and this experience that y'all went through is an opportunity for her to date outside of her typical preference and to have an emotional connection with somebody that supersedes the physical. Yeah. Luckily, both of y'all are attractive people, so y'all won both ways. Right. But a lot of times people are saying that she lost by taking a vow with you with the information that has come to the world's knowledge. What do you feel about your wife being attacked as much as she is?
For me, this is attack me. I've said it multiple times. Attack me. She had nothing to do with this situation. I will say 20 times anywhere, she does not condone leaving kids. She doesn't condone abandoning kids. She loves all her nephews. She's a very loving person. What people don't understand, or they do understand, they just don't want to hear it sometimes, is it's been a year.
Yeah.
She has information and people say, no, you don't. She doesn't have to share our personal information. Does she check me for things? Absolutely. That's what a wife does. Will she check me in front of cameras? No. I wouldn't do it to her either.
That's good.
So what we talk about in private, a lot of it may never be public. And I get that what was shown was entertainment.
Right.
It was entertainment, but now our lives are real. So the part that you've seen on TV, what was shown, that was the entertaining part. This is real. So if she doesn't step in front of camera and drag me through the mud like everyone else is doing, she's a pygmy, she's a bird. She's not that at all. You won't check her in her face. I'll tell you that, because I won't either.
My question to you is, what made you decide to go on Netflix's Love is Blind.
I've heard so many people say this, and I honestly mean it. I don't watch TV. Ashley can vouch for me. I don't watch reality TV. I'm still old school. I go to the movies, still buy the popcorn at the movies. They reached out on my LinkedIn. I had no clue what the show was about. Went through the entire process, figured it wasn't a scam because they didn't ask for any bank information. So I was like, we're good here. Got on the show. Once going to the show, I just figured I've tried love every other way. You know, I've done the dating apps, been in these streets, and nothing comes from it. It's so hard to find a wife. So if you have an opportunity to try something out of the norm, not saying that I was going for a wife, but why not go try? Luckily I came out with a wife, but it was all worth it. Why not?
So from a curiosity standpoint, after they started entertaining you in the DMs, it didn't make you go and watch the previous seasons?
No, so I had asked, like, should I go watch? But I'm a study type of person. So if I watch something, I'm watching it to study.
And you're going to start calculating how you're supposed to move?
Yes, and then trying to act like specific people. And they were like, no, if that's who you are, don't even go look. So I avoided watching the show for that specific reason because I'm just going to be me and this is what you'll get.
So going on the show, you were prepared to actually, if all things and all hearts and minds are clear, that you said, I would get married at the end of this experiment.
Oh, absolutely. Any of my friends, family could tell you that that's all I've ever wanted was love. So I'm like a love searching. I didn't get it much growing up. So I'm someone who just constantly seeks love.
What do you mean you didn't get it much growing up?
So my dad wasn't around, which was shown. My mom was a survivor. You know, people grow up surviving. She had to work all these jobs. So for us, it was me, my brother, and my sister. And all we had was each other, fun outside. There was no kisses goodnight. There was no I love yous. I think the first time my mom told me she loved me, I was about to get deployed overseas. I was leaving. That was the first time in 19 years I heard her say it.
And what's your position in the military?
I was a cook.
You was a cook?
Yeah. I heard some other stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I was a cook on a ship. So I know people are running around saying I was these other things. I wasn't. I was a cook.
So you're no longer in the military now?
No, I got out in 2017.
But you do have a government job now?
No. So I was working for Exelon Energy for a long time, which was nuclear security. And now I do sales. So I run a business called Temporary Wall Systems. It's a franchise, but it's me running the entire business.
So people online have been saying you've been misleading people on your profession.
No, when I applied for the show, I was nuclear security. So I had been there for 10 years.
Okay.
So I've done it for a very long time. And I wanted to get away from it because it was a very boring, it was boring. So you protect it, but it was a sit there. I didn't get to talk to people every day. I'm someone who loves to interact with people. So I was like, what can I do? Switched over to sales, ended up with a great guy. His name's Drew. He runs the entire business. And he was like, look, I bought a franchise. I trust you. Let's see if you can run it. And I've been there for almost 10 months, almost coming up on a year now.
Were you surprised when I named the people I cared about? When I said I care about Bree, I care about Deshauna. One group of people that I left out that are extremely important are the kids. So I definitely care about them. Was that like, why you care about Deshauna? Why you care about Bri? I said Bree, but Bri. Did that shock you to hear me say I care about them?
Nah, it didn't shock me. From speaking or watching your platform, if you're a God-fearing man, I don't expect you to not love anyone else, you know?
Because I believe in healing. I believe that everybody has a story that they've lived, these experiences that they have, the way they see and view life and relationships, how they're viewing you. People that are watching this podcast are going to be viewing you through their own trauma. The things that you say are going to either trigger them because they're going, I met a guy just like him, but you're not talking to Tyler. Like you're hearing Ray, you're hearing
it's PTSD.
Joe. Yes. And so you're responding out of that. And so what I try to do on the Dear Future Wifey podcast is to create a safe space where you, sir, who's sitting on this yellow couch, you have the opportunity to share truth. And I don't like when people say your truth. I don't like people say I'm gonna share my truth, because if I've convinced myself that a lie is a truth, then I'm sharing my truth.
Right.
It's a lie, but I'm sharing it as truth.
Absolutely.
To me. I care about the truth. And so the Dear Future Wifey podcast is set up just like that, to be able to say, listen, I start this podcast showing my own scars, and I'm sharing this with you is because what I'm opening up the door for you to be is totally transparent and vulnerable. When I start the podcast, the first year of the podcast, God told me, hey, share with the audience. I had 500 subscribers at the time. Share with the audience of your infidelity in your past marriage. That happened 5 years prior to me starting this podcast. And I'm like, why would you want me to do that? Yeah. When I started sharing about my infidelity in this episode I did with Joey Greco, who was the former host of the show Cheaters.
Okay.
And he's a good buddy of mine. And I had him come on the podcast and I shared that and I sent the episode to my ex-wife before it's released, which is something I'm gonna do with you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Whatever is shared on this episode, because I care about the value of marriage, I'm going to allow you, something I never do. I'm going to give you the footage. I'm gonna send you a link for Ashley to watch it so that she can be prepared with whatever is shared in this, that when it drops in 3 days, she can be prepared for it. I don't like for spouses to be blindsided on anything.
That's awesome.
I say all that to say, I want you to operate in truth and transparency and vulnerability and honesty on today's episode. Can I get your buy-in on that?
I got it. Let's do it.
All right. So that's what it is. So off the top, the biggest thing happened when you began to share that you had a child. You said a child in the after y'all got out of the pods, after y'all got back from the honeymoon, as you say, it wasn't even a honeymoon, but the trips that y'all went to, and y'all came back and you shared that. Hindsight being 2020, do you think you should have shared that while y'all were in the pods?
So here's the thing why I didn't share it in the pods. And I can't ever go back and, I always think like, should I have done something differently? I can't regret the decisions I made. I will stick on that. But I honestly tried to protect that family. They didn't sign up for the show. At no point could I talk about that.
Of course.
And I get getting engaged is a huge step. And I try to put myself in the real world because there's a lot of real world dating that was going on in the pods. If I was to date someone for a month, 2 months, I don't tell them everything right away.
Right.
So I was being upfront and I was trying to find there was never going to be a right time to tell Ashley. And looking back, sure, absolutely. I can't sit here and say that I wouldn't. I just can't change it, but I definitely should have mentioned that. And I've said it on the reunion, it wasn't showed. Omission is not okay. I omitted to Ashley and I admitted to that. That's something that I'll stand on that I was wrong for. So I do wish that in my mind, if I could go back, I do wish that I could have told her.
Why?
Just to get her a feel so it doesn't feel like I swindle her into a relationship. When me and Ashley have conversations, again, private conversations, I sometimes get the feeling, not that she does feel this way, but that her decision might have been different. You don't know. We are married and love each other now, but who knows what have happened. And if you're walking by faith, whether I told her or not, if that's my person, she would have still been my person.
Facts. That's what I totally believe in. I believe in total transparency. And so, because that is an interesting thing that you bring up, is that legally, if I donated sperm, and it's such a tricky situation, because if I donated sperm and people adopt kids all the time, and it's just so many, try not to unpack it all because it can be very tricky. Yeah. What I mean by that is that I adopted a child before.
Okay.
I adopted my child. Yeah, I adopted my nephew, and then I adopted a total stranger, my son Armani. But in it, they asked, do you want this to be a closed adoption? As a closed adoption, the parents don't know. I can change his name. I can do all this stuff, and they can. The records are sealed, and they have no knowledge of who adopted their child. Closed adoption. I went for an open adoption because I believe in everything being open or whatnot. So with that being said, if the child was younger and I decided to do a closed adoption and never let my child know until I feel like it's the right time to tell my child he or she was adopted, I, as the parent, have the right to do that, which now removes the right from you to get on the show and say, hey, yeah, I donated sperm and this is what it was or whatever. And then your fiance begins to ask questions, and then you got to shuck and jive about how you answer it because all of this is being recorded. Right. So you don't know what the TV is going to, it becomes very tricky in that scenario. Yeah, because it's like, she could be like, I didn't ask you to go in there and share no stuff like that. Like, what are you, like, it can get real crazy. So when I ask these questions, when I say, should you have done that, hindsight being 2020, I'm asking it based upon with the knowledge that you have with all parties being included, because you know whether or not she would have been upset with you sharing it. what y'all's relationship was at that time and how people that know how y'all were connected to each other, where they say, oh, well, I already knew that he was the donor or whatever. I don't know all that.
Yeah.
But you're saying hindsight been 2020, you should have said, yes.
This is all laid up front because Ashley has nothing. You know, she comes with no baggage. She was up front. She went in and was very vulnerable. Me saying, trying to protect, I feel like when I say it, I'm trying to protect the family. It's a cop-out. You know, in my mind, I feel like...
What do you mean when you say protect the family?
Because they didn't sign up for it. So I didn't want anyone go exactly what they're doing, digging, searching. These kids' birth certificates are on social medias, websites. It went from being about the kids, what everyone said it was, to let's tear Tyler down, but these kids have been pushed to the back burner. As you're smearing me, you're forgetting to protect these kids. Mm-hmm. And people are missing that part. Like, again, I'm okay with taking the heat for the omission part, for certain parts that I played in people's lives. I'll never be perfect. Trying to be a perfect person, husband, it'll never be. But I do just wish I told Ashley up front and let her make that decision. Mm-hmm. She's, for the most part, I'm going to speak for her. She's happy. I'm not holding her down. I don't have her handcuffed. She's a very strong, intelligent woman who makes great decisions her entire life.
And so when you look back at the moment where she asked you, have you seen the kids before? Why did you answer that question like that? And you said, maybe, I know. They asked you.
So it was like I don't know. It was like a look around, I don't know. So that was me trying to avoid. And then as I said it to avoid, I realized we were filming. So that night, as soon as camera stopped, I was like, okay, we had conversations off camera. And I'm like, look, I don't want to talk about this. I had mentioned multiple times to Ashley, I don't want to talk about this on camera. And she was like, we have to. Like, I feel a certain type of way now. I can't interact. We have been so loving. Up until that point, people loved us because the way we loved each other. That was coming to a halt because I came out and told her on my own the night prior. So then that came up and I'm like, I'm trying to avoid this on camera. I really was. When she asked, it was like a quick avoidance, escape. How can I get away from this? And I was like, I don't know. Told Ashley, the picture showed her, yes, they know what I look like. The involvement, we went through the steps of talking. We still talk. We still have very uncomfortable conversations to this day. So it was a cop-out is what it was.
Good. Glad you own that. Because for you to question whether or not your child, well, let me ask you this, because I want to make sure I respect how I'm wording stuff. Do you consider those, well, we're going to talk about the one that was the donor situation, and I'm saying one is, I'm gonna have you answer the twins, but do you look at them as your child?
That's tough. I'll be honest. So that is a tough question, and I say it because I haven't been actively involved. I know that's what's running around on the internet, but I haven't. I was around the son a lot more, only because we were living in the same building. He was around. There was a lot going on. As the twins were born, no, I wasn't around them for almost 4 years. So you'll see her mom post videos and it's saying, who is that? Who's that? She's trying to convince them who I am because they didn't know who I was. So I haven't.
The twins.
Yeah, yep. So
the twins are girls.
Yes, twin girls, yep. And she's trying to convince the kids that, you know, who I am because I wasn't around. And it's a very sticky situation because I don't feel like a father. And I've told this to Bri herself that I don't feel like a father. What I feel like is a glorified babysitter that you need money from. These kids have been raised the past 4 or 5 years with another woman. She's engaged. So they have been raised in a 2-woman household, which I initially was signing up for. So I had to be okay with that if I did step back.
Right.
And it's not an easy situation to step out of. Like, I do feel for the kids. But the more clarity I get, I'm just a people pleaser, extreme people pleaser. So Bri has a way of being convincing where she's like, she'll go through an argument with her fiance or whoever she's dating at the time. She's wrapped in a relationship. And she's like, hey, you know, can you come back around? Can you be around? And I think I'm making bad decisions. Like, maybe I should be in their lives. And I'm not putting it on her because I'm still a grown man making decisions on my own.
Absolutely.
But the touch and go of he's been active this entire time, it's not true. The pictures you do see, they are very intimate. Holidays, birthdays. I don't even looking at the pictures, I don't feel like a father.
So answer this. It's a picture where you had dad on your shirt. Why would you wear a shirt like that if you wasn't going to play the role of father?
So I initially stepped up to play that role as father.
At what stage?
right before the twins before the twins were born. I had already agreed to step in. I would be a part of it. Another misconception is that I named the twins. Bri was dating a girl who named those twins.
Oh, okay.
So a girl has always played a major part in these kids' lives. They gave one of the twins my middle name, but that was her and the girl she was dating. She named those kids.
So you had no say. So let's go all the way back.
Yeah.
'Cause we done got to the other twins. I want to go right from the very beginning. How did this donor situation take place with the first child?
Yeah. So me and Bri were close friends, extremely close friends, hung out almost every other day, if not. She hung with all the guys. She's one of the homies, to be honest. Like she is super cool, and I'll never take that from her. Her and her wife were trying to start a family. Her wife has a daughter, but they wanted to have a kid together. They went to the sperm donor bank. They charge per, I don't know if you know this, I found out with them, they charge for every, sounds like a 2K game, but for every attribute. So if you want to be with, yeah, that's what I was thinking about, because it's like an attribute. So if you want to be with, if you want your sperm donor to be black, if you want them to be 6 foot, if you want them to be educated, you have to pay per. You can go in there and just say, I want black or white, and that'll be bottom line. But if you want to, add some things on, you have to pay for those things. And they couldn't afford it. So I was like, look, I'll help y'all out. They had some home kit where it's like a cup. You do your business in a cup. You give it to them. They do what they want with it. They had their family. The wife did leave right before or right after the son was born.
Hold on, let's go back. What year is this?
This was 20... I'll have to double check the facts, and I don't want to sit here and say, I want to say 2017, 2018.
So 2017, 2018, and you decided to donate your sperm in order for your friend and her wife to have a kid. And that would be your first kid ever.
Yes.
And what did the people around you, did you consult your mom? Did you ask your friends and be like, what do you think about this?
Yeah, my mom was like, not a good idea. Maybe not a good idea. But again, me and my mom had that relationship that I've made a lot of great decisions in my life. So if I'm making one, she trusts that I'm making good decisions. Friends were like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, like I don't see it an issue, because I feel like I've lived 30 lives. And at that time, I think I was 26, 27. I thought that was old. Like I wasn't married. I didn't have a house. I think my life wasn't going as planned. And I didn't have kids. All my friends and family have kids. And I was like, why not help someone? I'm never going to have a family. I'm never going to have kids. What's it hurt to help someone else have a family? So when I stepped up, I'm like, sure, it's not a problem for me. I didn't think twice.
That's interesting. That's a big commitment. And so, but of
Huge.
course, you're 27 years old. So that's why I like putting stuff in context, because sometimes you may look at somebody at 34 or 45 and you're talking to them in the knowledge that they have currently, not realizing, if you asked me some questions when I was 18, that was a different Laterras, And so here you are, 27, 28-ish, making this decision. You donate sperm. What was the agreement during that time? I'm going to donate and disappear.
No, so we were still friends, and they were stationed in the area. It was, you donate, if you're around, you'll be Uncle Ty. You'll be uncle around, and I didn't see an issue. So they had a daughter that came from her wife on her side, and I was around her all the time. If you see me around kids, I love kids. So I was like, oh, that's not an issue. Why not? I'll be the uncle.
Do you realize, I think I saw a video with someone talking about, I think it was Deshauna was saying that her original desire was, if it was going to be a donor situation, it had to be somebody that they didn't know. Is that true?
No, that's not true at all. I was friends with all of them. We hung out every day. So I don't know why that would even be a thing, because we were all cool. I was hanging around her daughter. Why would I then donate sperm and then we just don't become friends anymore?
Or she's saying don't use Tyler, period. Just go find Joe Schmo. Get a total stranger and do it.
She's the one who said thank you. They thanked me multiple times. I got receipts.
Well, if you got, I want to see some thank yous, because I want to start seeing some text messages and stuff. So y'all were cool.
Yes.
So when the child was born, were you a part of their lives? And when you say part, y'all are friends, but how active were y'all? Were y'all just cool, but y'all see each other every so often? Or now that she's pregnant, you're like a regular person in their life. You're seeing her, every other week or every other day or talking to her daily. What was that relationship like?
No, so it wasn't like I went along with the pregnancy. None of the pregnancies did I ever go process day in, day out with. And no, we all lived in the same building. So I lived down on the first floor. Her and her wife lived on the third floor. So we would hang out. We would do game nights. All friends would come over. It was it was still a friendship. Once I helped them and Bride did become pregnant, the relationship didn't change at all. I still was just hanging around them as if they were my friends. I would talk to them once a week. What are y'all doing Saturday? We're going to come over. So we would drink, not her because she was pregnant, but she would drink, her wife would, and we would hang out just to be in company.
Were you in a relationship at that time?
No, I wasn't.
So when were you allegedly engaged with another woman at that time?
That was the end of 2016.
And so in 2016, was the child, she was still pregnant with the child, right?
No. She wasn't pregnant or didn't have the kid until September. I don't remember. It's September, but I'm trying to think if it was 2018 or 2017. It was around that time.
So the narrative that's going out where you took your then fiance to a baby shower, what are they referring to?
No, she wasn't at a baby shower. Me and Ashley talked about this. I've never went to a baby shower with her. And that situation, which is extremely wild, she's the one who cheated. I have the receipts for those as well. She's the one who cheated. And then we stopped living there. Me and my ex-fiance was living together. I caught her texting her ex, is what it was, which a lot of people don't know. And there are receipts for that. And there's a lot of deep, dark secrets that people are trying to spill about me where I'm like, they're not true, but I have a lot on you and your family. So, like I said, I didn't come here to trash anyone, and I will keep that person's name out of it completely just because. Of course, and you should. She hasn't come public and said her name, but I know she's been sending little subliminals. But I've never cheated on her. So her saying that you came, so which baby shower are they talking about? Allegedly. Are they talking about the first child? Yes.
And they saying that you were engaged, you took your fiance to this baby shower, not letting your fiance know that you were in fact the donor of said child.
No.
They just made this whole story up.
When we were done, the thing is, what's being ran around is that I did that, she found out, and she left me.
Right.
No, that's not what happened. We were done. I gave her the common courtesy of like, hey, when it was time after Bride's wife left, me and Bride talked like, hey, I'll step into his life and do all these things. Me and my ex-fiance were already done and broken up. I gave her the courtesy. I still have that receipt as well. Hey, this is what happened. I'm just letting you know. How dare you? You're dead to me. All these things. We were already not living together. We were already on bad terms because she had cheated. We weren't together. She had cheated. She was still trying to get me back. But I stepped back. I was hands off like, I'm good. I don't want to be with you anymore. I said I would try, but and in your 20s, someone cheats on you, your whole world's over.
Oh,
and I don't want no part of it.
Yeah.
We were living together. And again, people can deny it. I have them.
Well, I'm gonna ask you to show it to me a little bit. The question is simple as this. Did she go to the baby shower?
No.
So they just made this whole story up that this woman came to a baby shower. They just put this lady here and that never ever happened.
I honestly don't recall her ever going to a baby shower. I'm being completely honest. I do not recall her going to a baby shower.
They post a picture of your ex-fiance at a baby shower with you. Like, boy, you got amnesia.
You have to show me.
Or something.
You're going to have to show me because I'm telling you that the timing of it didn't line up or add up. Like I said, we were already on outs.
Well, let me ask you this then. Were you engaged with this woman at the same time she was pregnant with the first child?
It was the end of our engagement. Yes. Yes.
All right.
I'll give you just a yes.
So did your fiance know that you had donated sperm to Bri during that time?
No.
Okay. So you didn't tell her that either. Why not?
We were already on our way out. So,
but you got 9 months of pregnancy.
No, so that's what I'm saying. It was the time after I found out she cheated. So once she cheated, it was already, so we hadn't officially ended. We were still seeing each other, but we weren't living together. That's the thing. So we were done. She hadn't given a ring back.
But when did y'all get engaged? I'm talking about during what time donation happened in relationship to the donation and the girlfriend relationship with your fiance. Wouldn't that happen around the same time?
3-month difference span. So after I found out she cheated, it was about 2 to 3 months after that where I was like, I'll help you.
No, take the cheating out. Take from, this is a woman in my life. I'm dating this woman right here.
Yeah.
I'm donating some sperm to this other lady. When does this lady, at what stage did this happen? I'll give you months. I started dating this woman in January 2016. My homegirl, I say, let me go ahead and help you. I'm going to donate some sperm to you in March of 2016. The same month, 3 months later, 4 months later, I end up breaking up with her. Was she in your life while you were before? What stage was it when you donated the sperm while this woman is in your life?
At the end of after our relationship.
So after your relationship was over, then you donated sperm.
Yes.
Okay. So the question was, so that's what you're saying is that this relationship was already over and now
I'm helping someone else. Yes. Because that's where I'm at the point where
you say,
I'll never find love. Yes. I'll never be with anyone.
Now that makes sense. I'm never going to find anybody. This woman done cheated on me. Now that makes sense. I can resonate with that. I'm never going to find anybody. This woman I was engaged to, she cheated on me. Boom, forget it. Oh, I can be a help of service to somebody else?
Why not?
Let me go ahead and help
you.
Okay, that makes sense. Tyler? No, I understand. You got a very
sticky situation.
Yeah, your life is, boy, Jesus. Because you be making, because you got some decisions, because you be making life decisions, and it's just. Ooh.
And that's the thing is, which I realized, I never had any proper guidance.
I see.
So the decisions I'm making, I've always based it on, I'm successful. I can do this. Standing back, like, no, I couldn't have done this. Maybe I should have had a mentor. Maybe I had someone to talk to, but I didn't have anyone around me at the time to talk me through any of this.
And you're 27 years old, your frontal lobe just got developed last year.
That's what I'm saying. Men don't fully mature until what? They say 33, 34, something like that.
Yeah, but the frontal lobe isn't developed oftentimes to about 25, 26.
Yeah.
And the frontal lobe is a part of your brain where the logic side of your brain.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. So here it is. So now this child is born. The agreement was you're just uncle.
Correct.
And did y'all go as deep to say that as uncle, this child will never know that you're the donor?
Correct. Yep.
For life.
Yes.
This kid would
we didn't go through the entire for life. It was like, I'll be the uncle. They were married, so I didn't expect them to ever get divorced.
People know two women can't have a kid together, so the kid got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm saying.
So which I'm still comfortable to this day, if they ever get to of age where they want to know who I am and have a relationship with me.
Well, they just go look on the internet and they'll find
That's exactly what it is. Now it is, yeah. So, you don't have to go far.
So the reality is, what was it agreed upon? See, I like to go back to what I always say, are all hearts and minds clear? Now, it seems the more we talk, the more that these conversations may not have been had to the extent that it needed to be had.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. And so the
proper
reality,
paperwork.
Exactly. So what did y'all have? So you take me back there. What was y'all agreement?
We sit down, talk. It's me, her, and her wife, Brian, her wife, and it was just uncle. You'll donate sperm. If you want to be around, you can, but you'll be uncle. And it wasn't like I was around them every day. That's the thing. I did hang out with Brian a lot, but them as a couple, it's a couple, and my friends don't hang with my wife every day. It wouldn't be a thing. So when I am around, I would just be that fun uncle. That was the agreement. It didn't go in depth. We didn't have the proper paperwork. And those are all immature mistakes on my end.
No paperwork, and it was cool, done, signed, sealed, delivered. Whose name is on that birth certificate?
Her wife's.
So her wife's name is on the birth certificate.
Yes.
So you uncle, the child is born. Are you there when the child is born?
No.
All right. So you're not there. When did you see this kid for the first time?
I think the next day or 2 days later, me and my friend, we went down to the hospital because we all were friends with her.
Right.
To go congratulate her. So we went down there. Her and her wife were down to the hospital and went down there, said hi, congrats. That was it.
How did you feel?
I was happy for them. I could see the excitement on their face. So I was happy that I was able to help someone.
So you felt no emotional connection that that's my child?
No. And that's the thing. Like I'm such a people pleaser. To see other people be happy, it makes me happy. So I was seeing the glow. Like they were just ecstatic to have this family. Her wife, her daughter, they were all in the room. And I'm just like, I'm happy for y'all. Really happy.
So this is your first child. And this is, and that's what from an expert standpoint, you are supposed to be able to just have no connection because that would make it really weird.
Yes.
If you were like, this is my kid, why are you doing this?
Right.
They were like, bro, if you don't calm down, that could be a problem. But I want to know from the internal standpoint, you're saying that when you saw this child, this is your first child, you had no emotional connection where you were like, because I keep hearing you saying, I'm happy they have a child. You didn't look and be like, man, my child is, man, my son, that's my son there, boy.
No.
Zero.
No. I know when I had, because I wasn't along for that process as well. So I tell Ashley, when I have a kid, I want to be there. I want to take pictures. I want to do the stomach pictures. I want to be one before the kid's even born.
Right.
I wasn't there for any of that. It's a kid, you have your family. This is your family.
And so no emotional connection. When did the relationship with Bri and her wife go awry? Bri and Deshauna, when did that go awry?
So I don't know the exact date on that, but shortly after, from my understanding, at first, her wife up and left and just went to California to go be with a guy. After talking to Bri, and this is the other thing, character assassination against me. And it sucks that it's coming from a person that you've always protected.
Right.
Bri was physically assaulting her wife, and her wife had moved to leave. And which
is what Deshauna said in the video.
And when she left, that's the other part where Deshaun just got a little salty. She wanted full custody of the son that she didn't birth. So she went and filed to take full custody to bring the kid to California. The only way that could have got negated, Superman here again. And I showed up and I was like, look, no, just do a DNA test, which they did to prove that he was biologically my kid. And then it stopped her wife from taking it. So that was me protecting first of all, I helped my friend. Now I'm protecting my friend.
And screwing yourself in the process.
Both times. For her to come out and do all this to me. And
so you stepped up and said, this is my child. And then what? So that would protect her wife from fighting her for custody. Does that automatically dissolve it where they say you have no right to try to get custody of them? Or how does that work?
No, so I can't. Legally in Maryland, and I'll pull up the facts for that as well, but any couple that births into that marriage is presumed that those are the two custodial parents.
So you tried to help, but you couldn't help anyway.
Yeah, well, I did help because I was a sperm donor and the wife just backed off. It was going to be a longer lawsuit and everyone knows it costs money.
Yeah.
So it was who had the most money at a certain point and she backed off. But again, that was me protecting Bri. So her kid, because her kid was born, or I'll just say Kai, his name's Kai. Kai was born at a time that she was extremely low. He saved her life. And I'm not like their family. I'm not going to go smear them and tell them what she was going to do or was going to do.
Right.
But she was at a very low place and he saved her. So I couldn't stand back as a friend and watch the kid also be taken from her.
Right.
So I stepped in. I never fought for custody. And we'll speak about all of them. I've never fought for custody for any of them. So I know that's being ran around. There's no one that can get on the platform and say, I didn't fight for custody. I fought to not watch my friend's kid get taken from her. To help her. So I've been helping this woman who is now, I feel like in my personal experience, and I've said this to multiple friends, if you let me sleep on your couch, I owe you.
Yeah.
I helped you have a life and I helped you keep that life. There's no way in any right state of mind you should be on any platform talking bad about me. You couldn't have that family without me. I mean, sure, you could have went and found someone, but not those specific kids.
Right.
So for that to be a smear campaign, for her to get out there and do them things, it's very hurtful.
And so she said that after the wife left, you called and said, hey, let me step up. When you were stepping up, what did that look like for you?
So she was struggling. Again, we were still friends with daycare and doing all these running around. She couldn't hang out as a friend. And I seen her going through it. She started getting back into a depressed state. And I said, look, I didn't sign up to give you a kid. I thought this kid was being raised with two parents. And again, today's society, it will be two women. It may be two men, but two parents because I grew up with one parent. And I know that feeling. It's hard for one mom to just give you love and try to keep you afloat, everyone afloat. So I told her I'll step in and she was like, let's talk about it. We talked about it. And it was me stepping in as a father figure that I would be picking them up from daycare. I would do all these little things and we lived in the same building. So it was easy to just step in and help. We were already friends. But the problem where, and this is very controversial, people are going to hate to hear it. I still didn't have that connection.
Yeah.
And that's the tough part that people, they say like, oh, what do you mean to have a connection? In my heart, I was helping someone. So I had already detached from, and I wasn't around for all these steps. So to be around, it felt more of a uncle figure to me.
And what's so interesting, that's why I can never beat you up for the emotion that you don't, or the connection you don't have. And it's hard for me to hear, is because I'm a licensed foster parent as well as an adoptive parent. I adopted a total stranger, and I have a more connection to him, adopting him at 16 and he's 21, than you do with a young child. You know
exactly
what I'm saying?
What it is.
And I'm hearing you say this, I'm like, man, that's strange. But that's a deeper level. Like, I don't have the training or the license to deep dive
right.
into your emotional disconnection with a whole human being that came from your loins that, but then I also understand it too, because in order for you to do this the right way, you can't feel like that.
You can't have those feelings.
You could have did that at the very beginning. After you made that decision, you said, this is not my child. And the minute where you donated your seed, you just said, I ain't gonna have no emotional attachment to it or whatnot, and you did it that way. So I understand that. Yeah. I just don't have that capacity, and I'm never gonna project my capacity on you. And you're your own man, so you feel the way you feel. And I'm glad that you prefaced it by saying, I know it's maybe hard for people to hear and understand.
It's a lot of things, and I don't even think I made it clear that I'm not sitting here trying to say I did things perfectly. I'm saying I made a lot of mistakes, and I can see where people are upset.
Right.
Let's be very clear on that. I see it. But what I don't get is people upset at Ash. I'm going to keep reiterating this. That's my wife. I don't see why people are upset with her. She went on a show to fall in love. Be upset with me. I'm here to take accountability for my mess ups from my 20s up until.
The reason why they're upset with her is because as women, they like to rally behind all women and be like, girl, let me help save you from your foolishness.
Right.
And so they're coming at it from a place of protection.
Yes.
Security. We women need to stick together, and you're abandoning our tribe with foolishness. But what they don't realize is that she is operating in the full capacity of what a wife is supposed to be. Because as a wife, it says, forsake all others. And that's the same as a man, forsake all others. I can't please you. If I please you, I'm denying the true essence and the covenant that I'm supposed to have with my spouse,
that part,
man and woman.
Yeah.
So she don't have to validate their feelings based upon accepting what they say.
Yes.
She ought to just say, thank y'all so much. I thank y'all for y'all concern. But it's this girl on TikTok, Ariel Fitzpatrick, but I'm going to see for myself. That's what she always does. Yeah. But I'm going to see for myself. Yeah. These are my vows that I took, and I'm going to make sure that I'm not dumb about it. I understand the information, but I still got to ride this thing out, because if I file for divorce or walk away from it, it has to be based upon the capacity I no longer was able to take, not what you're telling me I should take or not. And
that's the thing. How many people have missed out on opportunities because someone else told you to?
100%.
If she doesn't feel like she's in the wrong, or she feels like she's making a very good decision, which she's a very intelligent woman.
Absolutely.
Let her live.
Yep. This
is a marriage. This isn't boyfriend and girlfriend. If they don't know if we own property, they don't know what we have together.
What life is.
And you don't know what she's saying to me behind closed doors. She could be, I ain't gonna say, she could be banging my head off the table.
That's what I was about to say. She
Get
could be
your stuff together.
It could be a whole lot of stuff that's going on behind closed doors. And that's the reason why I said, me as a man, the reason why I said I care about your marriage more than all this other nonsense.
Yes.
That's why I said that I'm going to make sure that everybody's protected as a husband and wife. And I said, I will let her see this footage before it's released. So whatever's been said, she can prepare herself.
Yeah.
And I ain't editing nothing out of it.
Yeah.
But the reality is she's going to be prepared on how to handle it properly. All right. So the twins are conceived or donated or what? What is the story behind this?
So again, her wife leaves. Little part that people don't realize either. Her wife then came back. So once her wife came back, they were trying to push me out. So it was her wife came back and they were texting me like, okay, she's back. We want our family back. We want you to back out. So don't realize how easy it is for them to push me out their lives.
So how long was this going on? How long were you back in, so to speak?
I can't give a hard time frame. Let's say 6 months. Just those 6 months. I was in this kid's life.
So in 6 months, you sitting up here picking the kid up from school. You
helping out.
You ain't playing uncle no more. You playing daddy.
Absolutely.
Yep. You got a shirt on and everything.
So no. Hold on. The shirts were bought by her mom, which we can get into that. That's another topic because she's throwing, and I hate to jump from topic to topic. She is the stone thrower. You know, she's the one who started this. She says it came from someone else. Said I was missing. Right?
Missing what? Disappeared?
I'm missing, but everyone has my phone number. Even Bride's fiance texts me. She has my phone number. I didn't go missing. I'll get into that a little later on, but her mom bought the shirts. Her mom, and these aren't my words. And again, this isn't to trash anyone. It's just trying to give you a realization of their character because my character is already being depicted of which I think I am. With her mom, when she was younger, her mom used to try to, and these aren't my words, beat the gay out of her. She is not okay with her daughter dating women. She has never gotten along with Bride's wife. I've watched them get in full-blown arguments. Bride's now fiance, she won't mention her. That no one's talking about that. And there are 2 kids added that they have a family of 5 right now that is completely erased. Her mom won't mention that. There's a couple things I just want to touch on because her mom had brought it up. I have a dog. She said this was the kid's dog. I got it for the kids. Not the case. I lived in Arlington for 4 years. The kids have been to my place one time. And that was because Bride wanted to go out and have a date night with her fiance. But it was one time that those kids have been there. That has been my dog. That I can stand on that. And the people just trying to add everything like, oh, you terrorizing the kids and the dogs. No, it's my dog. I've never planned a vacation with them was another thing.
You planned a vacation what? You supposed to?
Her mom said that we were supposed to go to the Bahamas or I have never.
Wait, who? You and the fiance and Bride?
You tell me. They said it was last year that I was planning on a trip with them, and who would it have been with?
Your Ashley. If it was last year, she was in your life at that point.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But it was like earlier last year. They're saying
before last year.
Yeah, before it. So they're saying that we were supposed to go on a trip. That never happened. She said my dad visited me. I haven't had a relationship with my dad in the longest time. So no, he hasn't visited me. She was just sitting there. I think at the point where she realized that I couldn't speak. She would just start throwing stuff at me. And I've only seen that because someone told me like she's on live and she's sitting there saying I cried in front of her. Every one of my friends know up until this show. You probably ain't never shed a tear because I grew up different. I can tell. That's the reason why I say it's a deeper trauma in you. The reason why you can disconnect from your child, from your seed. And I know what that is. It's just, it's not. Yeah. It's deep. I've never cried with my mom, but she's saying I sat on her couch and cried and said, I'll never leave these kids. When I visited them, the twins weren't even born yet. So what I would like to do is let's discredit that mom completely because she has a way of just going rampant and she has her own drama in her own life, what she has done to her husband. And I'm not going to speak on it. If I have to go and speak on that, I will. But like I said, I'm not here to bash anyone, but just know she is not, and anyone that has interacted with her is not the best character of people. But I want to keep reiterating, I'm not here to smear anyone else's name. I just want to let you know that a lot of things being mentioned are just bold-faced lies. Because, of course, as you begin to bring clarity, and I don't even want to use the word defend, but as you begin to give clarity about the truth in the situation, you will, by default, you got to mention the other people that are spreading whatever it is. So we understand that. Yeah. When you look back and the other kids are born, how did so now the ex, did they get a divorce when the wife comes back into play? No. So all kids were born into a marriage. In that marriage? That same exact marriage. All the kids were born in that marriage. So she came back. They patch things up, and then they say, "What? We want some more kids?" No, so that's when they came back together. They were together for I don't remember how long it was, but they were talking about expanding their family. And I'll be completely honest, I don't know the vials that I gave them or the capsules, how many they kept or what they had, or because how you keep them is on you. I don't know. But yeah, they came back and got together. They were trying to have a family together, trying to expand their family. And we're here now. And so they said they had that conversation with you, or did you just hear about one of them called you and said that, or you just assume that they were wanting to expand their family? No, I had the conversation with Bride. Me and Bride have had, and that's the other thing, cool. Like very deep. Yeah, we were, even after she pushed me back out of their lives, I was still remained her friend.
So she said, I want to expand the family. And y'all were having a conversation and you said what to that?
Absolutely. And that thing is, again, childish, kiddish mistakes to where I try to be a part of people's lives and help. Bri ends up pregnant these are with the twins now, right? Her wife is out of the picture. She is now dating this new girl. There's never been a point where Bri doesn't go from relationship to relationship. So this is a new girl. She has this girl around, Kai. The girl's doing everything. She's naming the kids. She's going to appointments. That's the other thing. People were like, oh, he's at every appointment.
Yeah.
He's doing, listen, I want to say 2 appointments maybe. This girlfriend was at every appointment. They were doing stomach castings. She took all the pictures of her stomach. It felt like it was back to that point.
Right.
And I had already agreed with Bri that I would be in these twins' lives because Bri tried to get an abortion. And the doctor said they said you can get it, but with twins, we're going to have to put you to sleep. So she said, I'm not going to get an abortion. Right. So as being me, listen, I'm here. I'm back here. Let's rock. Let's do this.
Right.
I'm here with you. But then it spun very quickly to where she's going to these appointments with this woman. It feels more them again. So I start to detach again.
Right.
Shortly after the twins were born, I was around helping a good amount, but that girlfriend was still around as well. She was pretty much raising the kids. And I was there helping a significant portion. And then it hits about, let's say 7-8 months in. I'm trying to remember if I was even at the first birthday. I might have been at the first birthday of the twins, and I wasn't at 2, 3, 4. She switched. She left that girl. She cheated on that girl, got with another girl who she's now engaged to. And then and that girl brought in 2 more kids. That's why, like, people sit online and they make it seem like it's black and white.
Mm-hmm.
This is the stickiest situation. And now as an adult where I'm able to comprehend more things, it's very sticky. When Bri gets into her relationships, she will push any and everyone out. There's a reason. And again, the same way you said you love her, I always love her. That's my friend. She has a way of focusing, and I know many people do it. You get in a relationship and your friends, the people who have helped you, they don't matter.
Right.
Your partner matters, but this is just your girlfriend. And I've watched you go from one to another, but she gets in these relationships and it's them. It's their bubble. So she's raising this family, having these kids. And me and Bri have a sit down one time. We meet up in Baltimore and I have a conversation with her and I tell her, I don't have this connection with these kids. I feel like a glorified babysitter. I feel like all you want from me is money to help fund your family. You want to raise these kids with a woman. I know, because I agreed to help you.
Yeah.
But the disconnect is, that's not how I want to be a dad. I was raised without a father and people are bashing me saying, you should know what it's like. No, it's different.
Oh, it's very different.
She is being raised. These kids are being raised by 2. They have been raised by 2 women constantly, whether it's a girlfriend or a fiance. It's been a 2-woman household this entire time.
In the season that you were active, do you consider yourself raising them or do you consider yourself just being a babysitter?
I didn't get to raise them. That's the thing. I didn't get to discipline them.
Oh.
I felt bad if I even said like, hey, don't touch that, because I wasn't around much.
Oh, okay.
It's that they never...
Even though you live downstairs from them, we're going to quantify. When we say not much and all that, we don't know what that means.
Okay, so let's do this. I wasn't an active parent.
So how often did you see this kid weekly?
The son at first, I would say I was seeing him more recently, 4 or 5 times a week, right? Him. Twins were born after, when they were babies from 0 to 6 months, I seen them pretty frequently, Monday through Friday, from 0 to 6 months. After that, once her partner was consistently around again, a new partner, they've never spent the weekend with me.
So they're saying that when you get a new lover in your life, you abandon your kids. You're saying it's the opposite. I can tell
you that I've dated seriously 3 women.
Since these kids were born, or in your whole life?
No, just my entire life. And this is not including Ashley. So at what point do these women come into effect? Because I dated when I stopped talking to, or when me and Bri had a conversation, I didn't have a connection. I felt like a glorified babysitter. I then went on to date a girl. I dated her for a year. I didn't see these twins or talk to them for almost 4 years. I'm not in serious relationships like that. That's the thing. I date, but I'm dating like everyone else, conveniently dating.
Yeah.
And no one is ever telling me what to do, like not be around these kids. They're playing house, not me. No woman is moving in and living with me and any of that. So it's not affecting my life.
Yeah.
That's easy to say when you have pushed someone out because you want that family. You've told me she has told me to my face, I want to raise kids with a woman. I don't see how it's possible to do it with a man. And I get it. Like I said, I get it. So my backing out standpoint was, okay, well, this is affecting my life too. Because
you get it how? Because that just confused me. So you said you get what part?
That she wants to, because she's been with women her entire life. So to say that that's what you want and that's what you see your life as, if I want to be with a woman, that's who I want to raise my kids with, you know?
But when she brought you into the life, so who brought who into this situation about, you know, when the women disappear? Is it you asking to be in these kids' life to be uncle? Or is she saying, hey, I need your help now since, you know, because is there both of y'all having a conversation saying, she said, I don't want to be a single parent. And you saying, I don't want my kids growing up in a single household, whether it's two women or me trying to help out. Let's come together and help provide some level of stability for these kids. Or what is this conversation like?
That's exactly what it is. It's the stability of kids having two parents. I honestly don't care if it's two men, two women, man and woman. I was raised in a single household, so it changes financially. It changes for support. Some parents they don't have their greatest day, so they need someone else to lean on at some point. So that was me. When I seen her struggling, and like I said, I'll take fault for that, where I'm like, hey, I'll step up. I'm here. Where she has showed me who she was. And I took it as, you're just going through tough times. You know, you didn't mean to cut me out of your life. You didn't mean to let your wife come back and push me back out. You're still my friend. I still love you. And
well, how'd you feel about that then? Since you didn't have an emotional connection with the kids in general, when you got pushed out, did you have an emotional connection getting pushed out?
No. So like I said, when it was time when we had that conversation, I took it as more of a shot at me as a friend. That's what I seen. It wasn't like a connection where it's this is hurting me. You're pulling me from these kids. It's, damn, we cool. Like I stepped in to help you. And then the minute, and sorry, I mean,
oh, you're fine. But I told you.
Step in, it's a shocker to me. So she showed her face multiple times and it just shocked. It wasn't like, it was a hurt from a friend, but also like, okay, if these kids are safe and they're going to have a family, I know what I was signing up for. I have to understand that. And the only thing with me is I don't want to be a tiptoe dad, you know,
right?
Because that's what my dad was to me. And that's more hurting. And I would feel better if I didn't know my dad.
Right.
I would be able to live life rather than thinking, you know, why didn't he pick me? You know, and at some point I had to make that decision. And again, this is a rough take, but I have to accept this in my life as well. And I don't want people to think like, he's just saying, forget them kids. It's not that easy for me. It's not. Just because I say I don't have a connection, I don't want you to think that I don't love them, that I don't care for them. It's not that. It's just I feel like that's the situation that they're going to have. And I'll be fighting that for a very long time of her wanting to be with a woman and raise those kids with a woman. There's even times where right before or last summer, actually, Brad told me in confidence, and I'm only saying this because it gets you a more understanding of people.
Yeah.
They pray every Sunday, right? Which is great. Love that for them. Their entire family, her fiance, and all their kids. There's 5 of them. They pray. Why she told me this, I don't know, but it even threw me for a loop. They say what they're grateful for, what they're not grateful for. Her fiance said, I'm not grateful for Tyler.
In front of the kids?
In front of the kids. So how can I fight that? You're going to be feeding them false information on me constantly and bashing me. So let me just back out. It looks bad, but that's not the life I see for myself when I see kids or wanting to raise kids or be around kids, when this woman is actively showing me that her family is with a woman and that they have that. And I want to be clear, these kids have been raised by women for the past 4 years. They go to her mom's house. They go on vacations together. That's not shown on the internet because people say I cleared my Instagram. Brad cleared her Instagram. Go look. Go try to find her fiance. No, don't worry. I'll show you.
Yeah, let me see her fiance. Because you're saying, and while you're pulling that up, I want you to answer this because she made the comment where she talked about the kids, the twins were conceived naturally. What do you say about that?
Let's say this. If she came out publicly and said that they weren't conceived naturally, that they all were sperm donors, would you feel bad for her? I'm not going to put you in that position.
Yeah.
But would people feel bad for her? Would she have a court case? Would she be able to stand in court, and try to get money from me if she didn't say anything other than that? Would she now have a public page that is verified? Would she have any of these other things? You can't tell me that she would. And the one thing that I will constantly say is, now that I stand on this, she's a terrible, terrible friend. She's not dumb. One of the smartest people I know. Very intelligent. She moves with precision. And I'll give that to her. She is very, very, very intelligent. But yeah,
So why don't she talk about her fiance? So let me see this. This is her fiance.
Yeah, so that's her fiance.
And these your kids right here?
That's the twins.
Those are the twins.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so beautiful. Y'all, I've been so emotional lately. I just can't believe all my kids are getting so big. My oldest legit is wearing the same size shoes as me.
But who's saying that?
This is the fiance right here.
But she said my kids.
Yeah.
So why hasn't she been mentioned?
When is this? When was this?
Look at the twins. They're older. That's recently.
How old are they right now?
I believe 5.
Oh, they look about 4 or 5 right now.
Yeah.
So she's been in their life for how long?
Since they were born. She's been around since they were 1.
So Bri went from the wife
to girlfriend, which I will leave her name out as well. But
I was another person.
Yeah, there's an in between.
So she went from
that's who named the girls. So it wasn't her ex-wife. It was a girl she dated after. She named the kids. She was there for the appointments. She was there doing plastic stuff on her stomach. They took all the pregnancy pictures. And then there's this girl.
So when the kids are born, the wife is not in the picture no more. Is the girlfriend in the picture?
Yes, the girlfriend is not involved at all anymore.
God dog it. Hold on, let me go back. Jesus, your life is jacked up. Let's see this. I know it's supposed to be a safe space.
I'm just trying to get people to understand
No,
that.
because it's so confusing. Hold on. So when the kids are conceived, the wife is in the picture. She comes back and say, we want to expand our family. These kids are born. Before they're born, the wife is gone, and now she has a girlfriend that says, I'm going to name the kids.
Yeah. So
within that 9-month period or whatever it was, because it didn't mean it had to happen immediately when they said, I want to expand it. When they said, I want to expand it, did it happen immediately or did it happen a year later? It couldn't have been that long.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, I was going to say it was probably a few months later. It wasn't because the age difference is almost 2 years. Between the son and the twins. It's almost 2 years. And then when her wife left, I want to say within months, she was with a new person.
So Deshauna said that whatever she said based on the timeline of the pregnancy, she said based on the timeline of the pregnancy, the kid was a month old or so 6 months. It was 6 months. The
original, the son.
Yes, there's the son.
Yeah. So they done a lot. It's been back and forth with them. So that's what happened. So she leaves, she comes back. She lets her leave, she lets her come back. So that's what I'm saying. Like she'll do anything for a relationship. And when I say she, I mean Bri. She wants a family and a household so bad that she'll accept someone back. And Deshaun will go back after being physically abused. And that's the crazy part. The people skim over certain areas. And I don't want to harp on it. But if I was married before and my wife came out and said that I physically abused her.
It's a wrap, boy. It's a wrap for you. Your life is over.
It don't matter what you say after that.
Nope.
They're going to clip that one part.
Your career's over.
But she came out and said that about her and we ignored it. She was trying to, there's parts and pieces where they'll show you her character and the entire world will miss it. Another example, the terrible thing that people are running with, you're saying sperm babies. Don't call them sperm babies. Her mom, I don't know where we heard that from. Again, I didn't watch it. I'm just telling off what I heard. Bride then gets on live and say they were mistakes.
She said that on her channel? Or
no, on live. She was on live with someone. And she said that the twins were mistakes. So imagine these kids growing up watching their mom.
She's saying that basically y'all had relations, as old folks say, and she got pregnant.
and then you're going to call them a mistake.
Well, she called it oops. We got some oopses.
Imagine if your mom or my mom got online and said you were a mistake.
Oh, it'll crush me.
So that's what I'm saying. So you can't. I just want to be clear that it stopped being about the kids a long time ago. Because you slip up on your smear Tyler campaign. You slip up and your character your mask slips up a couple times.
I think what she was saying in the mistake was it wasn't a planned pregnancy. And so a lot of times people say words that be like, that's not the best word to say, because if I was a kid and I heard you say it was a mistake, then I feel like my life is a mistake. So it's not good for the kids to hear that at all.
But the thing are, people can depict my words and break them down.
Every day.
I'm sitting on the reunion and I say, those kids, and that's all I've heard. Those kids, how you dare you say those kids. But she can say mistake, and it's just...
And you have to be careful about saying my kids because they're not legally your kids.
And that's the thing. They're born into a marriage, and per Maryland law...
Unless, like I said, it's legal if it was the mistake that she's alluding to, the saying that y'all had consensual sex and had a kid, and by, the activity birthed a child, then that is your child, whether that was planned or not.
And people are avoiding the dates as well. Go see when the kids were born. And they'll show you when she was divorced as well.
Tell us. I ain't finna go research.
No, I'm just saying, I don't know the exact dates, but it's her divorce was after the twins were born. So
her divorce was after the twins was born.
Yes. And that's what people don't realize is this. I just can't really, I can't harp on it enough.
So you're saying to say what?
That this isn't black and white. And the conversations of, let's clear this up as well. The text message of, Ashley's not my type.
Oh, so you sent the text message. Who sent to who?
That I sent to Bri. So they were saying that she's not my type and all these other things. And I'm gonna go through what led up to last year, because people are blaming the show that I left the kids for the show and did all these other things. Yes. And I just want to make sure I touch on these certain points. Ashley being my type, part of going on the show was
to date somebody outside your type.
So, and I've told everyone knows that I've had a type, right?
What is your type? A little light skin?
That's who I used to date all the time. Yep. But what I want to be clear is Ashley's beauty, and you'll watch it. I've never not told Ashley that she's beautiful. She's gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous. So I lucked out.
As a man, am I supposed to agree with you on this or not?
No. I mean,
because I'm saying, y'all say yes, she is. Yeah, your wife bad in the mud. She fine.
No. I was
trying to see how do I participate? How do I give you a safe space?
No. Yeah, you're good. It's safe. I'm safe.
All right, cool. Because
I just want to be clear that
I was going to validate what you're saying.
She's gorgeous. So my thing was saying not my type was she's not someone I usually dated.
Right.
But her personality 10 times better than anyone I ever dated. Her soul, the way she brings God out of me, all these things.
Good. The reason why the show is Love is Blind.
And the thing is, it was blind because I even said it wasn't shown that I didn't care what she looked like. I was going to be with that person. That's how deep we connected. When people say that,
is that true? Because I don't believe it. I believe people be lying.
All right.
People be lying. Because people be lying. They say that I don't care. I had this connection with them, and I've seen it happen more times than not. Them doors are open up, and they'll look, and you see disappointment on their face. And then they try to make it work, and then for whatever reason, they can't connect, and it ends before they get married at the end of the show.
So I got to say, I've been running with it that love is blind. You have to be physically attracted at some point to someone because it does become intimate. So I get that. I don't know. I can't speak on it. If Ashley wasn't who she was, this beautiful woman, would the interaction been different? I don't know. But what I can say is I have my wife and she's beautiful. And, and it did come out. It played in my favor.
Right. I say love is blind, but like ain't.
That's true. There you go.
Because if you look, I like the way she looked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you may love it, be like, man, I just love the way she makes me feel. I love, how she covers me. I love that she brings out the God in me, that we're praying together. Yeah. And I like the way she look, and I like all the benefits that come along with her.
She is the total package. I feel like I wouldn't have met her in any other circumstance.
Right.
Because I had my mind so programmed on the type of women that I did date or like.
But you're saying, but what did a text message exist where you sent it to Bri saying she's not your type? Even if you did, it's fine.
No. It was a text message that did exist, and it didn't say she wasn't my type. I said it's not someone I usually date, but she's nice. I kept it very brief.
Okay,
I didn't give her any detail, but the whole world's like, "How dare you?" She's not nice. She's an extremely kind soul, and the other thing that people are saying is that I'm hiding behind God, and they're just mad that I'm standing on a strong foundation now.
They said you pray too much. You was praying too much on the show, and they knew something was wrong with you.
That's Ashley, and it wasn't shown. You got to understand, this is it has so much hours of film. This is an edited show.
Of course.
Ashley made me feel safe. I told her in the pause that I always wanted to pray out loud, and how her deep relationship with God is, it makes me comfortable. The same way that I'm able to sit here and you make this space comfortable, she makes a space with God comfortable. So me praying out loud was probably the first time in years that I can ever remember praying out loud. Now I'm doing it not just in front of my new fiance, I'm doing it in front of cameras.
So we didn't see the prep coming
You didn't see the lead up. You just see me sitting there praying because I said, I want to pray with us every night. If you're telling me I'm safe and I can talk, because I don't know, I feel like I didn't know how to pray. If you're saying that's okay, she made me so comfortable and so safe that I did it.
And we just didn't see that.
No, you just see me like,
start praying.
Yeah, I don't know. I pray in my head all the time. So she gave me this comfortable, safe space to be able to pray. She's changed me in better ways. How Garrett says that his fashion, he always had it in him, but Taylor brought that out of him.
Yeah.
I've always had this love for God.
Yeah.
Now I have a partner that brings it out of me. So it's a little different.
Well, speaking of this love for God, what's up with these freak offs that they accuse you of?
Man.
Because was God there? Was God over here at the freak offs is what I want to know.
I want to know what freak. I didn't have no type of parties. I ain't gonna say no names. No, there were no freak offs. There was no Diddy parties.
So why people? So now listen, because this what happens before you said I do. You can for sure own it.
Absolutely.
So I'm saying you made because you said you was in them streets. I listen to what people say. And you said again, yeah, I was in these streets. How bad were the streets? Tyler,
listen.
Was you out here doing threesomes and all this other stuff?
Come on.
They said you was in freak offs. They said Brian was sitting in the corner watching you doing.
That's wild work. That is, listen, when I tell you wild, I'm in the streets. I'm not gonna lie about that. Everyone's dabbled in the streets a little bit.
Don't put everybody else. We talking about Tyler in this thing.
Tyler dabbled in the streets. All right,
we talking about Tyler, not everybody else.
Freak off threesomes with Brian in the corner? Absolutely not.
Well, was she in the bed? Not in the corner.
She wasn't. No.
Okay, you said in the corners and all this other stuff.
There was no.
So why would people just come up? And
it's not just people. It's one person, and that's the thing. It was Brian's ex-wife. Why would you? If I do something with, say, one of my friends, because I'm not throwing my relationship under the bus, and they marry, right? And they do something. Why would I then go tell my friend's wife that, hey, this is what's going on? So how would I was never that comfortable or that much of a friend with her ex-wife
to go tell her that
hey, we having freak offs.
Me and your girlfriend, me and your wife, we over here doing this.
Freak offs while she's sitting in the corner. Come on, man. And then what does that have to do with, and even if it was, and it's not, just to be clear, it's not, but even if it was, why is that even important to go tell when the subject is everything else? And that's the thing that...
Well, they're saying your character is that you just
can we not change?
Well, yeah, that's why I said.
I wasn't having freak offs, but can we not change?
I'd rather you have had freak offs and then said you changed. That makes the story more interesting.
No, the thing is, what I will take fault at is...
No, you got to deliver from some things.
It's telling women things that they want to hear.
Okay.
That's me.
That's good.
That's a bad part.
Because you said you're a people pleaser.
In my character is, if a woman likes me or I can tell her like, oh yeah, I love you, or anything.
Yeah.
I have a bad way of doing those things and it's not okay. Or I haven't done it, but I'm changing on those things. So when I sit here and say like, oh, I don't want to sit here like I have the best character. I don't. I've done messed up things to women. But
which is, man, it is because people saying you owe all these different women money. Like you fleecing these women like you the Tinder swindler. Was you over here fleecing women out of money?
What you can do, this is America. Anyone can sue anyone. That doesn't make them guilty.
Right.
I have never been in a courthouse. Not once. They're saying that people won lawsuits against me. I have never stepped foot in a single courtroom until recently with all this nonsense. I still haven't stepped. It was a Zoom call. I've tried to stay out of courthouse because I've had family and friends go down that route. So I've never stepped foot in a courtroom. It has turned into a smear campaign where everyone feels like they can get a jab. And the worst part is these people, these YouTubers or Instagrammers or TikTokers, they're giving people a platform to speak. But if you're going to be a journalist, ask them these hard questions that you're hearing about them as well.
Yeah.
You're giving these people platforms, but you don't want to disrespect them because they stepped on your platform.
Right.
Ask them the hard questions because I was never reached out to by any of these people smearing my name.
Mhm.
No one reached out to ask for my side. They took it, ran with it, and you got the clicks. You did your job. And at a certain state, it's like, cool, you get your coin. You're chasing the bag. It's disrespectful because you never asked for one side, and then you're giving people platform to constantly just trash my name.
Right.
You're not asking them questions about, well, Deshaun, why did you leave? Why did you walk out? Why did you come back again? If she was beating you, what made you come back?
Right.
Ask the mom, like, why aren't you talking about her fiance? What's up with this other woman we're hearing about?
Well, they don't know about it until you just
Oh,
said
they know.
that.
They know.
So they knew she
They see the
engaged with
comments.
somebody.
People are ignoring it. I've had friends tell me that they've commented on these lives and then they get blocked when these comments are against these people that are on live. So they're seeing it. You're stopping it because anything other than smear Tyler don't get you paid.
Yeah, that's true. So my question is, so when they're making up all this stuff about you owe some women and this money or whatever, is that true or false?
False.
Okay, because when you talking about court, been in court, there's people that owe me money and I ain't took them to court.
Yeah.
So I was like,
but there's a court case. That's the thing. It's online court case.
Who said they said that?
Yeah. So it's on. If you go online, it says that I went to court. I've never been to court.
So you tell me, people.
Well, it's not saying online. It's not saying that I went on court. It's saying that someone filed for something. But I never. And I'm leaving people's names out because I'm trying. It's not important enough to like drag certain people.
Yeah, delete their name out.
But no, I've never stepped foot in a courtroom. I've never been in a courthouse.
So they're saying there's a court record showing that somebody sued you for some money.
This is the other thing. Let's clear this up as well. Sunglasses. I stole sunglasses, right? You probably didn't see that. That was a thing running around. A girl that I talked to, she had sunglasses. She came and stayed with me. She was like, hey, can you send me my sunglasses back? Yes. We're not talking money. We're talking, and this is a girl I seen one time. She came and visited once.
She said,
so she was on here claiming like, I'm his ex. I forget the year. This was years ago. And she's like, I was his ex, all these things. I stole sunglasses. Not the case. The sunglasses, so I randomly got a package, my notification on my phone, go downstairs, look at a package. I'm like, what did I get? Ray-Bans. I have those. I wish I brought the Ray-Bans. She engraved the inside of them and they say, I love you. So now people are commenting on my picture. Give that girl her glasses back. She bought them glasses. You want them back? Take them. You can have these glasses back.
How do people be knowing about all this stuff? So she made a response.
She was in the comments. When my name started getting ran around, people were out there. I'm telling you, people were running up, kicking me, and running back. And she was the one running rampant. Like, I have horror stories about him. No, like I said.
She said you stole you stole some glasses from her.
Some sunglasses. We're talking
$140
Ray-Bans that she sent me, and they're engraved. And they're engraved on the inside. So for that to even come out, I'm like, all right, come on. That's pretty wild. That's a very wild move. That's what you're running with, and then saying you have horror stories. No, I have a way of, like I said, talking to people for what they want to hear. And back then, when I was dating women, it was very casual. So yeah, you came and stayed with me for a couple of days, and you left, and maybe it was more to you than it was to me. And I do apologize for that. That's one thing that I own. That is, I'm sorry for being that type of person and making you believe that it was more than what it was. But you bought me sunglasses and they're still engraved. I had to show Ashley. She was like, you're lying. I was like, look at the comments I'm getting. Return that girl's glasses. How dare you, glasses thief.
I'll say, girl, what's your address? I'm sending these glasses.
Man,
I'm going to send you 2 pair.
But I don't want to talk to no one. So it's like, I don't want to talk with people trying to like smear my name. And then there's another person who they're saying that I'm this terrible person. But I have text messages where they're like, hey, come put a baby in me. Come do all these things to me. If I'm such a terrible person, why do you keep coming back to me? But when I get public and I'm on TV, it's okay to smash my name because they know that I'm not going to. But I also don't do this public drama.
Right.
I put and people are going to say you put yourself on TV.
But you didn't put on TV for drama.
Yeah, that's what I went to go find love.
Yeah, because when I did this podcast, I had, I get some negative stuff here and there when I find somebody that wants to knock me off my throne and they'll say something. And I was like, I didn't do this to get this. It just dawned on me. I was like, oh, and then, my pastor ended up telling me that's the cost you pay for being the biggest relationship podcast in the world. And I was like, man, I didn't ask for this. He said, it comes with territory. It comes with the territory. Yeah. And so it allowed me to put things in perspective. Bishop Jakes once said, when people are throwing rocks at me, 9 times out of 10, I got to look down to see where the rocks are coming from. And so it gave me perspective to let me know that once you get on a certain level, people want to get on that level, but they don't know what comes along with it. And so it allowed me to put things in perspective to be like, oh, okay, now I can endure hardship like a good soldier. Yeah. I can't be swayed by what somebody else says, especially total strangers. You can't be swayed by somebody that can't even pick up the phone and call you.
That's the thing.
Yeah, these people that say stuff about you, you're like, you ain't got my number. Like,
so my thing is, I've been telling people, I'm trying to avoid people who are throwing harsh words that wouldn't visit me if I was in a hospital.
That part.
Because if you're not going to, why should it matter if you wouldn't even step up when something happened? If something was to happen to me, these people be like, man, sucks for Tyler. What's on tomorrow's reality TV?
Exactly.
No one really cares. So they're throwing these hates and they're like, you're a terrible person. I hear you. That's your personal opinion. And it does suck. It sucks hearing.
Yeah, because nobody wants to be the muse of everybody's negativity, or people watching their quote unquote favorite show, them picking you apart and just tearing you apart. And now you got to go home and say, hey, babe, listen, I know they said this, but this ain't true. And this right here, this is where they're taking this from. This did happen, but it didn't quite happen like that. And you're just explaining all this stuff in the first year of marriage. And marriage is difficult enough. And so now you got to carry all the weight of everybody else's opinion while you're still trying to establish a foundation and a knowledge of each other.
Yes.
And so it's bad on all fronts.
And this has affected our marriage. I want to be very clear that this has drastically changed our dynamic. Not that we don't love each other and we're still not best friends, but these, like you said, marriage in general, we just touched 1 year yesterday. Right. So we just had our 1 year anniversary. We had to set our phones down. We didn't even want to post about our anniversary because we don't want people to taint that experience. Or you've already tainted our love story. Yeah. But I don't want you to taint our sacred day now. So we didn't even post about our anniversary, and we're trying to navigate this the best way we know how.
And your anniversary date is what?
The 16th.
The 16th of November.
Yeah.
Lit fam, I want y'all to leave a comment and say, congratulations on your anniversary.
I
want y'all to, see, he don't even know that.
16. Because when I said it, I was like, I know I'm right. I was confident with that. And I was like, if Ashley sees this, and she'd be like, man,
he just one thing. You had one job.
Yeah.
So the reality is, because I have a very healthy community. So I want them to show love. I want them to affirm y'all and just say, congratulations on your anniversary on November. It's a 1 year anniversary. Yes. So congratulations on the 1 year anniversary on November the 16th, and just spread love, speak words of affirmation, affirm them. And that's what I need y'all to do.
And I do want to say that this will be and again, I'm accepting all hate, all love. If you are very confused, this is not my only time I'm going to go in depth with this, because again, I feel like a lot of things are still private. A lot of things are between me and my wife, and whatever they want to continue to try to expose, that's on them and that's their family. I have a union to protect right now, and this will be the only platform that I go in depth with this. And I want to let everyone know that this will be the only time.
You say you ain't finna be going back and forth.
I get to watch other people in other marriages, or, they get to go talk about their love life, and they get to talk about their experience and everything great that happened. I don't get to share any of that.
You get to defend.
Yeah, people want to hear.
Spend on defend.
Me and Ashley have so much to talk about, so much to enjoy about each other. So when we talk, or we talk as a couple next time, it's going to have to be a very respectable, very loving conversation. We don't want to harp on this anymore. We'll let the courts or whoever else figure it out moving forward. But I don't want to sit and harp on a situation that we have spent a year getting through, that we are now forced to relive. And I get the world doesn't know. And I said it, people hated it. The only explanation I owe to is my wife. If anything is brought up she's not privy to. People think that I saw someone say, we are entitled. You signed up for a show. You're entitled if they say nice things. I'm not entitled to respond to them if they say nice things. Thank you. And I appreciate it. Thanks for the love. But this is my real life, my real marriage. So the negative things, I am not entitled to sit up here and tell this. I'm doing this only because I want to now talk about me and my wife's experience. We got married on a very unconventional way, and I would love to go out and talk about it.
Yeah.
And Black love itself is rare.
Right.
And what's also crazy, Black people online are the ones tearing us down.
Absolutely.
You're getting torn down by your own people.
Absolutely.
They will post on their page and say, I support Black women, and then you'll get on live and say, that sister's a bird. That's not supporting Black women.
Yep.
That's not supporting Black women.
No lies told there.
I'm not asking you to support my relationship because you don't understand it. but don't say you support a specific race or gender and then go against that.
You just spoke the gospel truth there. My question is this. Hindsight 2020, and I know you said you don't like to live in regret, but when you look back over this whole situation, what do you think you could have done better?
The entire experience overall?
I'm talking about from the day you donated sperm all the way to the moment that you released this information to your fiance at the time, all the way to the time of this reunion show. You know, when you look back at that, you go, dang it, man, if I had a magic wand, I would have did this, I would have did that, I would have did this.
I would have been more upfront with Ashley at first, so we can have time to figure out throughout filming how to navigate. I feel like the way I threw it on her, she had no choice but to be like, it's on camera. And that's how tough she is. People, again, say that she's not this tough person. She made me talk about it on camera.
I know, I heard.
So I wish I did that differently. I would never wish that those kids weren't born, because these are innocent kids and they are a blessing. So I can't take that. I wish I had more in-depth conversations with Bri.
With me, yeah. So I could told you this is foolishness.
No, that's honestly, like I said, I grew up without a father. My father figure was my uncle, my mom's brother, and he's tough, rugged, love him to death. I have a cousin that's my age. He's like my best friend, but that was my father figure. But he was still, he wasn't my father. So I wish I had a mentor. I wish I had someone to speak to.
And by all means, I believe in donating. I believe in all that, whatever it takes to help people bring a life into this world and all that. I just believe that there should be clear expectations. And that's with anything. If you're not clear about it and all that, then it gets real this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I will say what Ashley has said in private, where she's like, you should have moved completely different. You moved like a fool at that time. And that's what she did say to me. And like I said, I will never disclose our private conversation, but that's one thing where she's like, I don't like how you moved in your 20s at all. And I don't like it either, because I thought in my late 20s that I had it figured out. I thought I was like, man, I'm old. I got it all figured out. There's nothing anyone can tell me. And now being 35, I live 3 lives. I live 4 lives. I feel like I'm in a whole different era of my life. And I know people want to judge me based off what people are telling you in the past, but I can sit here and say I'm not that same person.
So you mentioned about court. You just went to court last week. You said it was a Zoom meeting, and y'all have another court date in the future. What is trying to be established in these hearings?
Money. That's the only thing they want is money.
So put you on child support? Is that
that's exactly what it is. They're just trying to get money, and that's
another. Call it what it is. Trying to put you on child support.
Yes, and that's trying to get money for child support. And they're okay with me not being in their lives.
So they're not trying to fight for visitation. They're not saying...
There has never been a custody battle. When I've had conversations with Bri, it's never... Until recently, where she's like, hey, don't do this again. But it's only don't do this again because you're arguing with your wife or your fiance. So whenever you're in cahoots with your person, then it's like, Tyler, come around. Like, be around a little more. But when it's not, when you're all in love and you're wrapped up in that situation, playing house, then we're not worried about Tyler. So if you watch, at no point has she said, I really just want these kids to have their father. At the end of every conversation, Bri said, I just want what's owed to me, money. And then her mom has said, if he dies tomorrow, I'm okay with that. They'll get Social Security. How are these people's character not being questioned?
She said that on the live video?
Yes. And I would never do that. I wouldn't sit here and wish death on none of them. I would never. And again, wrong. For me to even help you have a family, protect your family at certain points, for you to get on live and try to trash me, you were never a friend.
No.
I was just a come up, and you were waiting to figure out how to cash out.
Yeah.
Because there was no plans for me ever to be on TV and for you to say I'm a private person, but now your Instagram's public and now you're verified and now you're getting on lives. When were you private? Before I went on the show?
Does she have a good job?
Oh yeah, she works. The crazy thing is she's in a top secret clearance job in the military where she shouldn't even be putting her business out there like that. It's a very secret top job.
Really?
Trust me, it's called the dark side. You can't, it's not, I can't even give you content on what she does because it's so top secret. So for her blast her life out there, she wouldn't have been able to go do a show like this.
Well, is that her real name?
Brietta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm like, if you got a job like that in the military, why would you be on TikTok doing stuff like that?
Is clout that important? And the thing is, even if I'm saying something wrong or doing something wrong, check me. I've protected your family. I helped you have a family. You could check me. You want to go on social media and smear me because the person that you hated the most, her mom, she has hated her mom for a long time. You are now becoming her. And it's crazy because they don't have the best of relationships. They never have because of she doesn't like what her daughter is. But now you're becoming this person. And I see it before my eyes.
Let me ask you this. Is she trying to get child support on all 3 kids?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. She wants, and it's a money thing. And it's because if you were okay with your family and what you have going on, you would just be like, look, Tyler, he walked away. I don't want anything to do with it. She won't do that because it's more, there's people donating online. This woman said that her ex-wife said she beat her. So now we just created domestic violence GoFundMe. What are we talking about here? Like that, if I was to do that, if a woman came out and said that I beat her, I would be crucified. There's no way that gets blown over. That shows you a person's character.
So when these kids were born, in summation, even though nothing wasn't written and agreed upon, it was understood explicitly that you were not supposed to be an active participant financially or due to time and visitation in these kids' life.
When the twins were born, I was. We had agreed that I would be in their lives. I would help financially. I would do these things.
And at what point was that? Before they were born? After they were born? When did
Before they were born. Before the twins were born. Yep. I said that I would step in. I would help. And then that's when the situation gets sticky where I'm being pushed out for her relationships because she like I said, goes and...
I'm talking about the wife comes back, wants to expand their family. When did the conversation say you're going to be involved?
I want to say a month, 2 months after figuring out she was pregnant, her wife was already gone.
So she came and expand, then she leave, then the kid, now she's pregnant.
Yeah, she tried to get an abortion. She couldn't. So when she couldn't get an abortion, I was like, look, I'm here. I'll be here for you. These are still biologically my kids. And I've never denied any of that. And I did step up. I was around, but to say I was an active, that's so far-fetched. The girls, if you watch the video, the twins, her mom's trying to convince them who I am. They don't know because I wasn't around them for 4 years.
So you wanted to be involved, but then she pushed you out and then you just said, all right, well, I'm done. She don't want me involved and that's it.
Yeah.
But now she's blaming you that you're not involved.
Right, correct. Because it came back around where we talked and I was like, look, because again, people pleaser is a fault of mine. And I love my friends. There's nothing that I wouldn't do for them. And especially seeing kids, my niece, I talk to them every day. And when I came back into their lives, I was like, look, I'll try. And her asking me back in their lives was, again, I'm starting to realize that a pattern. You're arguing with this girl you're dating. Then when y'all are good, we're not worried. The only thing I get is, I need some money. Can you send me some money? I'm funding your house. You don't want me to have...
So she would randomly come and ask for money for what?
Anything. Like even flights. When they would take flights, I would be like, okay, I'll send you money. They would go fly to be in Louisiana with her grandmother. I would send them money for flights. Just little things that they would constantly just act. And then when she has a family now, this woman she's dating has 2 more kids. Her fiance has 2 more kids. So it's a house of 5. I bet it's rough. But why do I have to fund that when I don't get to be a part of everyday thing? I don't know what school they were going to. I was not disciplining them. I don't know what it was going on day to day. The kids were getting like hurt and then I would see them and they would have scratches and bruises or stitches. And I'm like, what happened? Oh, we forgot to tell you. We forgot to tell you. The fiance knew. And to put it into perspective, this room, we're sitting in this room. If there's 3 people that's extremely close in my life, my mom, my brother, and my sister, they all have kids. I talk to them all the time. My nieces are all tatted on me. Those kids aren't tatted on me. So that's one thing. If we stood in this room, just these people here, and brought the kids in, they couldn't point out who my mom was. They couldn't point out who my brother was.
They never met your mom?
No, they met her, but they couldn't point her out.
Because they only seen her, one time?
Yes.
Little. I mean, they're how are they now? That picture was 4 or 5.
They've seen her. They see my mom
They're 7
twice.
now, right?
Yeah. They see my mom twice. So for people to say he's active father, he backed out, how's his family and friends? Some of my friends have never met him. Has never met the kids. And I'm telling you, if in this room, I talk to my niece, I could FaceTime my niece right now and she would be ecstatic, jumping wall to wall. And that's my niece. If the kids walked in the room and my mom, my brother, and my sister were sitting on this couch, they wouldn't know who they were. How is that an active parent? That's not how I see my life having kids.
Were they saying you were active at a certain point, or were they saying they were active up until
the way they're making it seem, her mom was saying that I was there every weekend. I had them I kept them on weekends.
At what age, babies?
I never kept them for weekends. I never had them for weekends. When I lived in one specific apartment, they stayed with me one time. And then in Arlington, they visited one time. And I lived in Arlington for 3 to 4 years. So it was never active. The thing is, if they can make you believe, sit there and make you believe that, you can hate Tyler more.
Exactly.
You know? And then the thing is, but why do you want that? Someone tell me, what is the point of this? What is the point? If you want money, there's a court for that. Yeah. If you want something else, there's something for that. But why get on here and trash a person who's done nothing but try to help?
Because she could be looking at it like you aren't trying to help. That you are on this big platform, your life is looking extremely great, and she's suffering dealing with raising your kids.
With her fiance that she chose.
Right.
And their kids.
Yep. From a traditional standpoint, it's the same thing. If I father some kids in a traditional sense, and I go off, live happily ever after with my new wife, and then the mother of my child is struggling trying to take care of my 3 kids with that. That's what she is associating her lifestyle with, is saying that here I am taking care of these 3 kids, Tyler in and out. He meets a new woman, he forget all about it, because I have homegirls that deal with that as well. And they get a new woman, they forget all about the kid and the woman. Then she's coming off like that. So my question to you is that when you look back at that, what do you want to happen in this situation? For her to disappear?
No, I don't think she'll ever disappear. So that's the thing. She'll never go away. You can.
Why you say that?
I mean, how do you disappear?
She just say you're no longer. I know some women that have you can't even mention the father of their kids. It's done. Their life don't exist with them. They have raised their kids and went on about their business, and they be like, I'm your mama and your daddy.
Yeah, I mean, that's how my mom was. But like I said, my mom also didn't exclude my dad from ever trying to be around when he was.
I'm talking about disappear. I'm talking about the extreme. Your daddy don't exist. He don't get to come in and come out. Done. I'm saying, what do you want?
I want them to have their family and leave me alone.
Okay.
That's honestly what I want. Because at this point, even if I put in the back of my mind that I can have a relationship with them, I wouldn't want to be attached to that family. Not the kids per se, because again, innocent kids, beautiful kids.
No, but you just said attached to their family. No kids are attached to the family.
I'm just saying, but they come with
it don't
everyone
matter.
else.
So I with
get
a baby mama.
Yeah.
I may not like the mother of my child, but I will never prioritize my feelings over that. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I would never prioritize the feelings that I have for a bad relationship over my kids.
Respect.
That's Laterras. That's just how I operate.
Yep.
I stand on that. I don't care if the mother of my child lied to me, accused me of abuse, tried to broke the windows out my car like Jasmine Sullivan. I'll be like, that woman is crazy.
Yes.
But I'm going to love you, child, and I'm going to show you how to honor and respect. I'm going to honor and respect your mother because that's your mother, but we ain't going to have a relationship, but you're going to watch me honor and respect her.
Absolutely.
And then when that child comes of age, my child will look at me and be like, you know what? Yeah, I've never heard you say nothing negative about my mama. And she always says something negative about you. I said, I know.
I was going to say, that's what I was going to ask. So you wouldn't be concerned of them running your name when you're not around? Because
there's a quote in that office. When we get done, you're going to walk over there. It's a quote God gave me. Let your character outlive their lie. God told me that years ago. Let your character outlive their lie. Does it hurt? Absolutely. But I believe that through consistent character showing, the person will look and be like, you're nothing like I've heard. The reality is it's your kid. If you're being an active participant in that kid's life, if it was active, no matter what that mom says or that father says about that child, the child is smart. The child will look at me like, my mama never says nothing bad about my daddy. My daddy always talking about my mama this, my mama that, or whatever. And that child will keep growing up, starts getting to their own thinking. 12 years old saying, I want to go spend time with my daddy. Why you always want to go to your daddy's house? It just feels like peace over there. Don't know it. That child won't articulate
it. You didn't say anything bad,
No, but they just feels like peace over there.
Yeah.
And so that child later on will begin to speak at 16, 17, 18, 25 and be like, I want a man like you, daddy. You be like, why you say that? Because I watched how you treated my mama. And my mama used to drag you in and out of court. My mom used to do this. She talk bad about you. She would do this or whatever. And I watch you stand tall as a king. See, that's what people don't want to talk about. So when I talk about having a healthy platform, it's not just having a cute video and interviews. It's the life that we live behind the scenes to say, you can say whatever you want to say about me, but I'm not going to validate what you say by my character.
Yeah.
So my character is going to either give credence and validation behind what they are saying, which makes it the truth, or you look at it and be like, that's a lie.
Yeah.
And the reality is that's the power you have. The
Yeah.
power you have, whether you acknowledge these kids as your biological kids or not, those kids are going to grow up one day and they're going to get whatever feeling they have about their dad.
Yeah.
And you have the opportunity to show them what narrative they speak about.
Absolutely.
Or whether they're going to be spending years in trauma and therapy unpacking trauma because they like, well, y'all quit sending me these videos that happened in 2024.
And honestly, that's the part that does kill the most. Innocent children. Everyone keeps saying it, but you're okay with keep posting the videos and putting their pictures up there.
Let me tell y'all that the people who post in pictures and videos of the kid and birth certificates, that's so foul. When I tell you that is so foul and despicable, that is wrong for you to do, because at the end of the day, you would never, especially those that are parents, that's a huge violation. You will pop off on somebody if they did that with your kids. So I'm telling you right now, you're wrong for that.
It was the grandma.
Oh, that's even worse.
That's what, and I'm not saying that you just condemned her, but I'm just saying, but that's
went in on the grandma.
No, I'm just saying,
grandma,
but it's not right. That's the thing. No matter who it is, it's not right. That's
the grandma, the one that posted the birth certificates.
Sent it in, sent the pictures, everything. That's what I'm telling you.
Grandma emailed me. I need to talk to you.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, the thing is, I wasn't active, so it's hard for people to say he was active. There are pictures, there are videos. It's very few and far in between. If I give you if I create a montage of all the things that I've done in my life playing basketball, I can make it look like I'm a professional basketball player.
Absolutely.
But to take these pictures over the past 5-6 years, you can make it look like I'm very active. And they're doing that. For her mom to get on there and say that I was there every other weekend, you're lying.
So let me ask you, when's the last time you saw these kids?
This was September. I went to a football game last year.
September 2023.
Yeah.
Is the last time
I was
you
at a
saw
football game,
the kids, and it was you. Was it her and her fiance?
Yes.
And the 5 kids.
Yep.
And you said what to the kids?
Nothing. It was a football game. I went to a football game.
You saw them in passing, or y'all said,
I went to a football game. I went to the Suns football game.
Oh, the Suns football game.
Yeah, yeah, like a little flag football game. I went to a game. And people are saying like, oh, you left them for the show. No. What I will say is one thing that show does help you get is clarity.
Oh, I'm about to say that.
So you are detached from everything. Whether I found love or not, I was in a hotel room with thoughts and how I want better for my life and praying and thinking about things. It was not that. People will say that these are the motives. It's all these, rather than just looking at it from a standpoint, because they didn't see this or understand this, the standpoint of, I wasn't an active father. I wasn't around. I was tired of playing this tiptoe in and out game and watching you play house.
That's good.
And then funding it.
Yep.
So when I came back with clarity, I don't want to have these conversations no more, because you are really good at talking to me as my friend that I've always loved. And I will put myself back in that situation. So the only way to step out was to completely detach myself from everything. Or I would have been in a life where I ended up where it's not a dad. You have a house with 2 parents. Her fiance has raised these kids. So this is what you wanted. And I see it. And that's what I want them kids to have, 2 parents, not 2 parents and a tiptoe in and out dad that comes around just so you can say he goes to dad and donuts. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to be a very active father in my kids' lives at all times. Don't say you want a relationship and raise these kids with a woman until you do it and y'all get in a fight. And it's like, well, I know my friend will come back. That's not it. It gave me clarity, a lot of clarity. So I didn't leave. If I came back with no one, that was my mindset.
This is one of the rare times where you said my kids in my kid's life.
Yeah.
Are you talking about proverbial, saying that if this was a traditional situation, I want to be involved in my kid's life? Or are you saying these kids I want to be involved in? If you're going to allow me to be involved in my kid's life, are you saying that?
Yeah, I'm saying like if I was to have my kids, like my own kids, how I would want to raise my family. Yes. How I would want to raise my family with, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
yes.
Because you say my kids. And so I just wanted to make sure that If she gave you the opportunity right now and said, "Hey, listen, man, listen, I saw this episode of Dear Future Wifey. Let's fix this. What does fixing it look like to you?" She said, "I ain't finna be making no more videos talking crazy. We not finna do this. And I realize we do need healing in this family. However this looks, let's sit down and fix this."
First thing is, I wouldn't believe her. I'm going to be honest. Second thing is, I think it's past fixing. You know, where your mom is saying that they wish I died.
Take her mom out of it. Forget the mama. Her. Don't make her accountable to nobody else. She's talking to you, man to woman, and says, "Let's fix this. I do not want my kids to suffer emotional damage throughout life. I'm asking you, as the donor, as the bio father of these kids, I want you to weigh in on this. How can we fix this?" Would you just say, the way you fix it is, don't ever call me again and F these kids? Like, what are you saying?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I'm sitting here and I'm trying to think, and that's what I've done in past places where I try to think of something that I think you will want to hear. I don't want to do that.
Don't think about what I want to hear.
Not anyone, but what the people want to hear. And I don't want to do that either.
Don't do it. And if you don't have an answer, that's okay.
Yeah, so that's why I don't know. Sitting down right now, I would have to talk to my wife.
Yeah.
And it's us now. So it's me and Ashley. So there's no, Tyler, what can you do? No, it's my partner. So
and I like that, and I respect that you said this. But let me tell you something that's so cool about it that I take the heart posture of as a leader, as the foundation of your household. You can cultivate whatever that is based on what you want. And your wife will fall in line and say, and not saying the wife just got to do everything the husband say,
trust me.
I know, but it's a leadership standpoint. Say, listen, you know what? You trust me, right? You follow me as I follow Christ, right? Absolutely. This is what I want to do. Now, what would you like? Do you agree with that? So the reality is, I don't want, because you operate from a place of a people pleaser mentality, what I want, if anything that you walk away from this conversation with, I want to impart leadership, full masculinity, where you're not doing stuff based upon somebody else's approval.
Yes.
It's based upon, this is what I see right for my life, and I'm getting this direction from God. And this is not the easy road. It don't feel comfortable, but this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, as a leader, I can look down the road and say, legacy. What is my legacy? If I take my last breath today, how would I be remembered? And every man should take that moment in their life where they say, if I were to take my last breath today, how are people going to remember me? If you took your last breath today, God forbid, but your legacy right now would be, Tyler never owned up. He got these kids, don't do this, blah, 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 blah. That's what it would be. And your kids grow up trying to understand that. Yeah, like, now why would he? Well, I do understand that's kind of difficult, but did not matter enough for this and this. They don't care about it. All they want is whoever's going to be daddy. And I have to be careful in this new generation with, like you said, 2 women being parents and 2 fathers being 2 men being parents. I don't know all these pronoun stuff. So I'm trying to just figure this out. But the child would be like, I want my bio parent and some level of understanding with said parent. And you have the power to either create whatever that is or say, listen, this is difficult and this is what I have chosen in this. I'm going to stand beside this original agreement. This is what it is. And it is what it is. Yeah. I donated this for a reason. You have every right for whatever you want because that was your agreement. All I'm saying is whatever it is that you decide as a man, stand on it from this day forward and make sure all hearts and minds are clear. And you can bless everybody with, hey, this is what it's going to be. This is what we agreed upon. This is what we should have had in writing at the very beginning. We didn't do that. Now we got an opportunity to put this here just like this. And this is what that is. And if you don't know the answer to that, that's fine because it is crazy. Yeah. Let me choose a better word. It is complicated.
Yeah. And no, I definitely get it. And that's what I want to be clear is I'm sitting here taking accountability. I want to be clear on that. Me walking out of kids' lives or the in and out, I don't enjoy just as much as anyone else doesn't like hearing about it. I'm taking the accountability on not being straightforward with Ashley at the beginning. I want to sit here and say that I'm not better than, I want to sit here and say that I don't have the answer. if she was to reach out and say, let's figure this, how can we figure it out? I don't know. I feel like I'm so hurt by a lot of things that it would take a lot.
And that's what the mediator, you get mediators there and they converse and get down to it. So something because it's going to take a lot to rebuild whatever it is, but everything is possible. I'm an optimist.
Yeah.
So I just believe in healthy relationships, healthy family. I just believe that. And as ugly as it is, it's still not out of control.
Yeah. No, I don't think, like you said, I don't think anything's out of control. You can fix a lot with prayer. And it's like I would have to talk again with Ashley. I would have to talk to God. I would have to figure out a way that benefits all parties.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. I'm not sure. And again, I don't hate anyone. I'll be clear on that. Like I said, I'll always have love for anyone that's ever been in my life, good or bad. You were an experience. And you showed me something on some aspects of life, whether it was to trust someone, whether it was not to trust someone. But I don't know what that conversation would look like.
I mean, it'd be
It would
interesting.
be, yeah.
It'd be interesting because I don't even know the answer to it. Even while I'm saying that to you, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you sit there and say, all right, listen. So I can't even entertain the conversation. I'm like, what do you say? Do you say, hey, listen, am I going to pay child support on this or am I not going to pay child support? But if you want me to be an active participant in this kid's life like an uncle, then we need to also discuss at a certain point where we're going to tell the kid that I'm the bio dad. Like all that stuff, I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen, it's a lot. It's very complex. But again, I know that you possess the capacity because you're the one that made the decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you possess the capacity to come up with the answer. So what I'm empowering you with is solution. See, a lot of men don't want to come up with a solution. We can go make a whole lot of mistakes. We can make a lot of bad decisions. I don't even like to use the word mistake. So I'm going to say we can make a lot of bad decisions, but we don't want to take the work to create the solution for the bad decision.
Absolutely.
So what I'm telling you, King, is I'm empowering you with the power to come up with a solution to it ain't a bad decision that you made. They just wasn't fully thought out. Because the decision, that your initial thing of saying, I want to go ahead and bless you so y'all can have a kid, if that came with good intentions and desires and you want to do that, you have all the right in the world because that was a well-intended thing that you did. Yeah. The way that you handled it, the way all that took place is where that decision was handled poorly.
Gotcha.
And so now you have the power to look back and go, God, okay, when I was a child, I spoke as a child. When I became a man, I put childish things away. That's Bible. So now what do I do? How do I put these childish things away? I got to put these emotions away because I'm responding out of emotion because I've heard all these lies. I've heard people stick daggers in my back that I tried to help. I understand that. Jesus, you did the same thing. You said, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. So I got to exercise the heart posture of Jesus. Gosh, that hurts. Dang, that bothers me. But this is the crown that's placed on my head because you called me a king. So now this is what I'm going to do. I'm looking at this offspring. Either I identify with this as my kid or I don't. And I make a decision based on both ways, whether I see him as my kid or I don't. And then I handle that decision accordingly. I come up with that solution. Then I talk to my wife and say, this is what I'm presenting you. And this is what I want to do. And she says, okay or not. And then you talk to wise counsel, attorneys or whoever, say, this is what I want to do. How do we make this work? And they go, this can work right here. Well, this is going to be a problem based on state law. That's not doable, but we can do this. And then they carve it and shape it up. And then you present it with the other party and say, hey, this is what we come up with. What do you think about that?
No, honestly,
that's some king stuff.
No, it's great advice. And that's stuff that I've never gotten, to be honest. It's easy for your friends to back you up and say, make a decision, do it. Rather than someone say, figure out a solution. But whatever solution you figure out, stick on it.
Yep.
Whether it's in the kids' lives, out the kids' lives, being friends, make a solution. Because it's easy to avoid it.
Yes.
And it will go on being a problem. Just because you're avoiding it doesn't mean it's no longer a problem. So no, I definitely appreciate that insight because it's not something that I come across. There's never been any type of manly figure in my life with wisdom that can give me insight on decisions that I made in my life.
I'm going to tell you this. I try not to be emotional when I start thinking about my childhood. I was 18 years old. I put myself on child support. I put myself on child support when I was 18 because the mother of my child she was preventing me from seeing my daughter. I was spending all the time in the world with my daughter. I was there when my daughter was born. I would say that at that young age, she was dealing with, her emotions the best way she knew how. And she was like, I'm finna change some stuff and I'm not gonna let you be in your kid's life anymore. Devastated me. I told my dad, I said, first I called the attorney general. I said, I need y'all to, the mother of my child is preventing me from seeing my child. And they said, are you on child support? I said, no. And they said, well, we can't enforce visitation if you're not on child support. I said, put me on child support. They said, excuse me? I said, put me on child support. If y'all not going to enforce visitation, then put me on child support. They said, we don't even know. They don't even know how to. They don't know how to put paperwork to say that.
Right.
So then they was like, "Oh, well, just come to the office." So my dad and I went to the office and we sat down at the attorney general office and we sat down and talked. And they said, "So you want to put yourself on child support?" And I said, "Yeah, because I want to be an active father in my child's life, and I want y'all to be able to, because it goes both ways. If I don't pay, y'all gonna lock me up. If I do this, I need to be on child support." They said, They looked at my dad. They said, "Where did he get this wisdom from?" My dad said, "Like John the Baptist, I am not he." And he sat there because my dad ain't took care. He got kids. He didn't take care of it all. So he was just like,
he said to be on child support. I had no part of this.
I had that. Yeah. My dad said when he got my sister's mom pregnant, my half sister. The father said, either you're going to marry her or you can leave forever. He said, well, I know what I'm doing. And he just left. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what he said. He said, that was an easy decision to left. And I was like, boy, that's shady. But that's what he did back then. And so when they asked me that, he said, like John the Baptist, I am not he. So when I talk about fatherhood, it's so deep with me because I understand the gravity of fatherhood. Even the kid that I didn't produce the sperm for, I adopted kids.
Yeah. So
when you talk about fatherhood, it is deep with me. It's so deep with me. Matter of fact, thank you, Lord. This episode is dropping Wednesday. This coming up Saturday is National Adoption Day.
Oh, wow.
So I adopted my sons on National Adoption Day. One of them 1 year, another one a few years later. President Barack Obama called that into office and made a national holiday where kids in foster care get adopted on that day. And it's awesome. Totally paid for by the state. And so that's National Adoption Day. It's interesting that we're having this conversation, but Saturday is National Adoption Day. A lot of states, they celebrate, or cities celebrate it on different days around that, but it's always the national one is the Saturday before Thanksgiving. And so it's interesting that we're having this conversation. And so shout out to those foster parents that are going to be consummating their adoptions on National Adoption Day. Shout out to y'all. If y'all are celebrating by adopting the kids that you are fostering, leave a comment. That's extremely special for me. Extremely special for me. So as we have this conversation again, even though I had a child biologically, my daughter, shout out to Laterras, who's 28 years old. I adopted my nephew when he was 8 years old. He's 16. I adopted Armani. He was 16. Now he's 21. But I've never still had that situation. Yeah. So I don't sit here as an expert saying, well, that's just easy to do. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, and I want to be clear. It's not easy.
No.
I didn't do this.
Yeah.
I didn't wipe my hands with it. It's a lot of talking to myself. It's a lot of talking to Ashley. It's a lot of, again, prayer that, people think that I'm hiding behind.
Right.
But I'm actually talking to God, just not publicly sometimes. Just because I post prayer sometimes, I'm not hiding. I'm trying to figure out my life.
Yeah.
And this is the best way. This is the best navigation system I got is prayer right now. So it's not easy by any means. It's tough. I'm just trying to picture what life looks like, and the question you asked me, what would I want? I don't know.
And that's okay. That's okay right now for today in this conversation. But if I call you a couple of weeks from now and I say, what do you want? You still say, I know. I will challenge you and say, you haven't put in the work, because while it's a difficult situation, nothing is too difficult for God. And if you are truly rooted and grounded in God, he's going to provide a solution. He said, if you call me, I will show up. He said, behold, I stand at the door and knock. whosoever hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and sup with thee. Meaning that the minute that he is knocking, this is that knocking moment right now where you're having a conversation with me and I'm challenging you to rise up to a certain level of manhood. And now that's the knocking at the door. And then you say, all right, God, this little bald-headed man done told me some stuff and I don't know who this man is. Why did I even go do this episode to begin with? But
I know why I'm here.
Why?
I was called here. I'm telling you why. Like, before I got off the flight, Ashley said, I feel in my spirit, you're in good hands.
Ooh.
And one thing I can speak on Ashley, I don't know how long she's been building that relationship with God. That woman is good. When she says she feels something, don't question it. I learned to navigate around stuff and not want to talk about it. And she'll sit there and say, I feel it. I feel like I'm going against God. You need to tell me. When I tell you, I was like, it was one night I was crying to her because I was like, I don't know what relationship you have, but I want that. It's scary good. And when she told me on the plane, you coming here, I feel in my spirit is like the best thing that you can do. I was like, yeah. I was nervous a little bit, but then the nerves went away once she said that, because if she feels it, and you'll sit with her for 10, 15 minutes, have a conversation, you know it's in her spirit. So.
Do you realize the importance of having a woman of God like that?
No, I do. Trust me. I'm well aware. That's why I want to defend her on every platform. And people are saying that as well, where it's like, you're letting her fight. No, I had to sit back. You know, I didn't have anything lined up. I wasn't jumping at the first thing smoking. I honestly wasn't aware of your podcast. So if I jumped at the first thing, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
My name would have been ran through the mud for going with someone else where they don't have a good back history or they can't speak on anything. They don't give anyone a positive platform.
Right.
So the fact that I did wait, it does suck because it looks like Ashley was in the front line fighting. I was in the front line fighting at home. So to come
that's
here.
Good. Hold on.
Yeah.
I heard what you said. King. You were sitting at home trying to keep her stand, trying to preserve this, trying to cover her at home and said, they can fight all out here, but I got a secure home base.
Yeah. Trying to make sure that the rocks they're throwing aren't affecting the house. Now the foundation is getting shaky, you know? So
that's good.
Yeah. So it's just a weird position to be in. But had I not waited, you know, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
And this is the only time, like I said, that I'm going to go in depth on this. This is the only place that I feel safe. And I don't think there's another. I don't know. I don't want to throw anyone else out there, but I just don't know. I just know when my wife says that in her spirit, this is it.
Anything else you need to clear up before we get ready to wrap up? Anything else that you like to relay to the audience? Where are these receipts? What receipts? You got something else you want to show me?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna hold off on the other ones. I'll let you see them, and I just want you to read it to yourself, and then just your face, you can have it.
Right.
But there's some stuff that I'll take to court. I don't have what the future's gonna hold, but just some things.
And who wrote this right here?
That's from Bri.
And this is 2019, July 22nd, 2019.
Yeah. Yep. And that's just something that, again, I have the means to put it out there. I'm going to wait. I'm going to let the courts decide what it is good, what's not good about it, certain things.
And was that after all 3 kids?
Yeah, that's after all 3 kids are born. It changes a little things, doesn't it? It does change a little bit. And I know people are going to be like, you should have told us, it means nothing. But I get it. But some things aren't for public, not when I'm going through stuff. Because I talked to you on the phone, and one quick thing you said to me that it stood with me. I told Ashley, you don't always have to show people your hand.
Nope.
And it's not that I'm trying to hide things. It's just, I want you to like me for me, not because I persuaded you to like me.
Yep.
Not that I showed you receipts. I have people that actually love me in my life. So I don't want to persuade you to do that. But yeah, I just want people to leave Ashley alone. If there's anything in this interview that you don't like, take it out on me. Ashley is the innocent bystander that did nothing but try to fall in love with someone nationally.
Now, can y'all do that? I mean, can y'all hear
They're
the
probably not going to listen to me, but that,
I know, so I'm gonna say it. The reality is, how are you attacking? If you're saying, listen to this real quick. If you are saying that this woman is innocent, she didn't do nothing. She ain't donated nothing. She just mind her business, came on the show to try to find love. If you are truly trying to protect her, why are you destroying her in the process of her decision that she made. Because again, you're watching something when Love is Blind comes out, they done got married. It was a year ago. All that stuff done happened a year ago. So are you saying if she were to listen to what Yara is saying, she should just divorce him right now? You know what? I should divorce you. I know I did this last year. I know I know you told me all this stuff then. And I took my vows with you. But everybody else is saying I need to leave you alone. So I need to go and leave you alone.
So now, if she does that, are y'all going to go give her 1 million followers? Y'all going to give her $1 million? No, because in 2-3 months, you'll forget that y'all told her to do that. You'll forget because her life will go on. So it's let her make a decision of what's best for her. She's very intelligent.
And leave people. And if you ever want to do anything, especially those that are believers. Now, if you're not a believer, you ain't got to take this mandate. But if you're a Christian and consider yourself a Christian, you know the best thing you can do? Pray for your sister. Say, Lord, I ask that you cover her. I ask that you give her clarity. God, you said you'll never put more on her than she can bear. And so I lift my sister up before you right now, God. Protect her heart, protect her mind. And God, I speak a peace be still anointing over this situation. Quiet the naysayers. Let the lies dissipate and let your truth reign in the name of Jesus. That's what you should be saying. And Amen. I'm saying that right now to you, Ashley. Matter of fact, we're going to pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you. We thank you for this couple. We thank you for Tyler and Ashley taking vows before you, God. They took vows before you to honor you, to lift you up, to magnify you, to create legacy in your name. And God, I ask that you strengthen their relationship. I bind up every demonic imp that tries to come against their relationship and destroy it. You said, what you have joined together, let no man put asunder. And God, they are saying that you joined them together in an unconventional way. But God, you are in the midst. He's saying that he can hear the heart posture of his wife when she speaks to him. She has clarity of thought to be able to discern right decisions from bad decisions. And he's saying that he is submitted to that counsel from her, which says a lot about him as a man. So God, I just thank you right now for what you're doing. God, I ask that you fortify their relationship, strengthen them. And God, I ask that the people that are coming against them, that you just quiet the noise, that you silence the noise. In the name of Jesus. And if they decide to take this episode and make videos, give them a different heart posture as they are creating their content from it. Give them a different vantage point, God, in the name of Jesus. And God, will be so careful to give you the praise, the glory, and the adoration. God, we lift those kids up before you right now, God. And all parties that are included in this thing, God, peace be still. Quiet the storm. Quiet the storm. Peace be still. Let these kids grow up to be a mighty man of valor, to be Proverbs 31 women. And Lord, let them do great exploits in your name. Cover them from the crown of their heads to the soles of their feet. You said it's not by power nor by might, but by thy spirit, said the Lord. So let your spirit overtake them right now in the name of Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So if you like to pray, newsflash, I like to pray too.
Nah, I love it. Nah, that's why I said this is the place to be.
This is the place to be.
And I can't wait for Ashley to watch because she's going to say, I knew it.
She's going to say, I knew it. She's like, you better listen to me.
It's scary. It's honestly, it's scary in a good way.
Yeah.
That spirit flows through her in that way. So, and I see where she gets it. Her mom, amazing, strong woman. Same way. Spirit flows through her. She's privy to everything. She prays. Love them both.
So what is her father in her life?
So I won't speak on that situation too much. Let
me ask you, have you met the father?
Yeah, I met him. I've been around him a few times.
Okay.
Definitely a fun person. But the whole I know some stuff came out that I won't speak on because that's Ashley and her dad's relationship. Right. I just know that they're not that close. If anyone's going to know anything, her mom.
So how does her mom, how do you feel about y'all's relationship?
I love her mom. Me and her mom are, listen, it's like they just accepted me in the family. You wouldn't know that I met her grandma. Her grandma writes me, says She loves me. Yeah, like she got an Instagram. I was like, this your grandma? Grandma be writing me. Yeah, I'm telling you, I love her
your
family.
Your grandma
man.
be sliding my DMs, Ashley. You tell your grandma to stay out my DMs.
Yeah, she too. After this, she gonna be in there. So, hi, baby. Yeah, but trust me, their family is amazing. I think we got married the 16th. Spent Thanksgiving with them. They took me in. You couldn't tell that I wasn't a part of their family.
You spent your first Thanksgiving and Christmas
with their family. Yeah, married. And it was right away, right off the back. And I'm telling you, extremely loving family. I see where Ashley gets it from with her mom. Her mom is God-fearing. Like,
Good.
she has her own story to tell as well, but she is strong, and she's instilled that in Ashley, and the way that they speak about God, it's worth hearing.
Well, good. I think, how you feel at the end of all this? You good?
Yeah, look, I'm good. This is, like I said, this is going to be my one and only.
Yeah.
The next few times I want to speak on me and Ashley's love.
And
I
then-
want me and her to be a union up front standing, because it's been a lot of her interviews, my interviews,
Yeah.
and it didn't even feel comfortable with her even coming here to sit here with me. That's not,
Because I was asking for her to come join you, and I want to do a 2-part episode where I have you talk, and then another one with her on there. But my buddy was saying, no, she's always spoken. Let him sit 10 toes down with you as a man, and y'all have a conversation.
I would love
Yeah, y'all
to come back with Ashley.
Come back with Ashley.
And I guarantee you, once I tell her about this, she can be like, let's go. She's going to be on the first. Yeah, trust me.
First thing smoking.
Yeah, man. I seriously, I love everything about this podcast. I love the platform you provide. I love how you speak into me rather than at me.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Praying, and I truly appreciate it, seriously. And I don't think it will clarify a lot of things for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But just know everything's not black and white. And I'm trying the best I can with the cards I was dealt, or that I dealt myself.
And just for clarity, this wasn't for them. This is for you.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you. And so they get blessed by the overflow, or they just have more stuff to talk about. But I said, let's have a conversation. At the end of the day, 10 years down the line, if you sit there and you be like, hey, we celebrating 10 years, you know what I'm saying? I'll be like, man, I remember y'all was on my podcast.
Yeah,
like
y'all were going through it.
Yeah, y'all were going through it. You know what I'm saying? And y'all having kids together like that. That's what I care about. I just care about these healthy kids. I care about, these other parties that are included to just get healed.
Yeah. Because
Bride gonna need her healing. Deshauna gonna need her healing. This new woman, she gonna need her healing. Whatever it is, just let everybody be healed and be well. Because if these kids get a chance to witness healthy parental involvement in their life, then they just become better.
Healthy. Yeah, absolutely.
That's all I care about.
No, I understand that completely.
So listen, anything coming up? Well, you ain't got nothing coming up to be telling people to go support, huh?
Don't support nothing.
Don't support nothing. Just send my boy some comments on. Leave some comments, because we'll be doing collaboration posts on IG with this. Just stop the negativity. Please. If you can't say nothing good, don't say nothing at all. That's what they used to tell me when I was little.
What is it? One of the movies I seen.
What did he say?
I think it was Bambi or one of those little movies. It was one of the movies that say, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
That's what we grew up saying. So just do that. Just try to stop being so toxic out here. Listen, y'all give it up for my homie, Tyler. I don't want to let you go.
Seriously, appreciate it. I don't want to go. Seriously, no, I appreciate it, because this is like I feel like I'm just
we hear
kicking it.
You got a chance to release for the first time.
Yeah, this is the first time coming out and speaking.
Yeah,
and it feels extremely comfortable. Seriously,
this is good. Well, you got my number. You got my number, so let's stay in touch.
Absolutely.
So give it up for my homie, Tyler Francis, y'all.
I appreciate it.
Stay tuned to the end for a letter to my future wifey.
Been writing these love letters to you.
Ladarian. Thrusted suddenly into Child Protective Services in 2015. My nephew, Black, a boy. The likelihood of being adopted outside of kinship, slim to none. Armani, 16 years old, Black, a boy, with 5 years in the foster care system before I even knew his name. The likelihood of ever being adopted, yep, you guessed it, slim to none. While Ladarian and Armani were trying to survive and barely thrive in an overpopulated and underfunded foster care system, I was living my own life, doing well professionally. Having been a single father with a daughter who at that point was doing well in college, it was my time to live my life, right? Wrong. I felt unsettled, tireless, agitated. There are just too many of our Black children stuck in ambiguity and in the limbo of the foster care system. In 2017, I legally adopted my nephew, Ladarian. Fast forward to 2019, I had no ties to this other young king, but I felt God instructed me to adopt him also, and I obeyed. Starting over with parenting should have been enough, right? Working with various foster care and adoption agencies to help bring awareness to the countless young Black kings in the foster care system should have decreased my agitation, right? Joining the board of directors of Advantage Adoption, an organization that helps find permanent adoptive homes for children in foster care, should have led to some type of resolve, right? No, not at all. None of it felt like I had done enough. I now realize that every one of those experiences was laying the fundamental foundation for my life's mission, Kingdom Royale. Kingdom Royale will be a luxury, state-of-the-art home for foster boys. Our first location will be in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We will utilize the whole person approach that instills identity, empowers them to advocate for themselves, and enlightens them regarding new perspectives and limitless options that they thought were impossible. Though the young kings will attend the local public schools that are in proximity to Kingdom Royale, our at-home curriculum will broaden their worldview through participating in the arts, attending various cultural events, learning about and engaging in multifaceted discussions about current events and even relevant historical context, introducing them to gardening and landscaping and even caring for our animals on our farm and on-site stables. We just launched our Startup Capital campaign with the goal of raising $2.8 million. Now, why $2.8 million? Well, in 2017, I created a web series in which I performed random acts of kindness for targeting the homeless community. One of the most notable successes was that one of the videos went viral, garnering 28 million views. However, one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't raise a single dollar to help in implementing a more sustainable plan for the homeless community. So throughout the years, with much remorse, I reflected on not maximizing that moment. I knew if at that time, just 10% of the viewers donated $1, we would have raised at least $2.8 million that could have really established long-term support for the homeless community, or at least started a long-term initiative to do so. This is my do-over. This is our new beginning. Together, we can attack this at the root by specifically helping our homeless Black boys who are already disproportionately represented in the American foster care system. I'm Laterras Whitfield. I've been nominated for 3 regional Emmys documenting my work with the homeless as well as my personal adoption journey. Despite those accolades, the greatest award for me is truly providing the infrastructure for a transformed life. Visit kingdomroyale.com for more details. Crown a king and make a donation today. Now listen, that was a lot. You know, it's really different for me to have a conversation with somebody while I'm trying to fact check what they're saying, and it just makes it very challenging. But there were moments that I wish I could have gone back and got the answer that I was seeking. There was a part in the interview where I asked Tyler, were the kids conceived naturally, the twins? And he began to go down this trail of, would you have sympathy if the kids were conceived naturally versus donor situation and all that? And the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, that's not the question I asked. A safe space and accountability aren't mutually exclusive. A safe space and accountability aren't mutually exclusive. What does that mean? That I could still, and you can, hold somebody accountable while also creating a safe space to do so. And so while I reflect that moment, I should have came back around and said, I heard everything you just said, but were these kids conceived naturally? But then I also know too that, which I never like when someone is coming on the podcast and they're in the middle of a court battle, that's never good, because they're going to always be careful about how they're answering questions because they don't want the podcast to be used against them in their court case. And so, so I know there's that as well. But I believe that as a man, if you conceive these children, take care of your kids, take care of your seeds, take care of your offspring, period. There's no justification in it. Well, anyway, I am a huge fan of Love is Blind. I believe that people can find love. And I love the seasons where people found love, sight unseen, creating a connection solely based on core values. I love it. I love it. The sapiosexual side of me loves that the producers created a show that allows people to connect on this level. And so I wish the best for all parties involved in this. I pray that this episode illuminates in the mind of Tyler, because once you get a chance to look at yourself back and you know what the truth is, you know whether or not you were honest, or you know whether or not, you know what you said, what you didn't say, why you didn't say what you said. I just hope that a seed was planted in you, Tyler, for you to reflect on this and do the right thing. Like I said, I empowered you with the decision to stand 10 toes down as a man and do the right thing. Well, here's my favorite part of the podcast where I speak to my future wifey. Dear future wifey, from the moment our souls collide, I want to be your sanctuary of clarity. The world is chaotic enough, filled with noise and distractions, but with you, I vow to be a place of peace, a space where doubt dissolves and understanding reigns. You will never have to guess where you stand with me. Transparency will be the bedrock of our connection, allowing us to build trust brick by brick. I want to know your heart, your dreams, fears, and joys so deeply that I can help translate them even when the words escape you. Likewise, I welcome you into the uncharted corners of my soul, trusting you to speak life into the parts of me that still search for meaning. In your presence, I want to feel the freedom to be authentically me, knowing you'll nurture my growth, not hinder it. Together, we will be each other's compass, helping one another stay aligned with purpose and calling. I look forward to the day when I can rest in the knowledge that our love is both a refuge and a revelation. Your future hubby.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Remember, be lit, live intentionally and transparently, and don't stop loving.
Make sure to subscribe to our Dear Future Wifey YouTube channel. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. We welcome your support. Simply share our podcast with your friends and family.